Sound, I'm going to help you out and let you guys rest for a minute or two.
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to another live broadcast coming to you by HSPN Sports. My name is Ryan Stout alongside Chris Jenkins tonight here in Pembroke Pines, Florida, bringing you live action all night long. We got the Flanagan Falcon Dirty Birds taking on Coconut Creek, the Cougars, here in a Broward County matchup. Second game of the season. We brought you Flanagan last week with Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. Flanagan, as expected, number 3 in the state, also ranked in the nation. Expected put some tremendous points on the board. Douglas eventually got some points on the board, but ultimately we're looking at one heck of a face-off tonight. Chris, how's everything going?
Pretty good, my friend. As we talked about in our pregame talk, very good matchup tonight. You can expect Flanagan actually moving up to number 2 in Class 8A rankings, and they are ranked in the top 20. But they're taking on a Coconut Creek team that may surprise some folks tonight. This is a team coming off a 4-6 record. They are currently 1-0, getting a big W over an Atlanta-based team, Marist, last week, 41-21. Explosive offensively. So we can expect a lot of points both ways. We'll see if Coconut Creek can hang with this Flanagan squad and it not be a running clock as it was last week. Of course, Flanagan coming off a 35-7 W over an overmatched Douglas squad. We'll also, and one of the things I'm looking forward to seeing is if Flanagan can clean it up on the discipline side.
Yep.
Pretty inexcusable. Between 6 and 8, unsportsmanlike penalties. Actually, Coach Bush said it was around 8. I thought it was 6, so it was even more than we anticipated. But this is a team explosive on both sides of the football. But for Coconut Creek to pull off the upset, according to Coach Reed, entering his 3rd year, watch the line of scrimmage. He said they want to control the line of scrimmage. They want to keep Pearson contained. We spoke a little bit about him in the pregame. You spoke to the fact that he got busy, had a really good game. I believe he was our player of the week.
He was, yes.
They got to contain him.
They have to.
They also have to look out for Stanford Samuels III. He's a former DB, switched over to quarterback,
right,
and played very well. Coach Bush was very pleased at the way he played. Said he played tremendously. Liked the way he controlled the offense.
Right.
Made right decisions. Be a good matchup tonight.
It will be. And once again, this is High School Game Day, brought to you by HSPNSports.com. And as we're talking about these athletes, we're going to bring you to tonight's impact players for Coconut Creek. Number 9, wide receiver Benjamin Victor, big-time weapon on the offensive side coming in for Coconut Creek. Also, Malik Young, number 6, is coming at you at a defensive back position. Another impact player, number 3, running back Destra Benoit, is actually, as well as an impact player, is also a scholar athlete tonight. And last but never least, we have Trayvon Mullen, number 1, which is at the defensive back position tonight. And we are excited for these young men offensively. I think Coconut Creek has the standout offense. Like you said, Stanford Samuels coming in, second game at the quarterback position. He has plenty of talent surrounding him, guys like Ja'Cour Pearson, but Flanagan definitely known for the defensive side of the ball tonight, is making a tremendous impact Coconut Creek, though, we've had a chance to watch them throughout the whole year. We had them last year.
Yes.
High-powered games, Boynton Beach High School, where we're talking about offensive points, like you said, in the 50s and the 60s.
Absolutely, especially with Harrison being a 4-year starter at quarterback for Coconut Creek. They are capable of pulling off this upset. We'll see if they can hang with them.
Yeah, well, Jakari, we've had a chance to see him grow.
Yes.
And we've seen him grow throughout the 7-on-7 season as well, which is tremendous for these young men to be able to compete. Not only are we dealing with South Florida football, but these guys get to play all year round. The 7v7 tournaments that they get to play in, had a chance to compete in the Elite 7v7 NFA this year with the Miami Showcase, and guys are just blown out of the water. I mean, they're coming in, they're competing against the best, and basically this Miami Showcase team was Coconut Creek High School coming out there. Jakari putting up some major numbers. Guys like Benjamin did an outstanding job during the offseason. Ultimately, we're going to see that hopefully translate tonight on the field.
Yes, absolutely. Those kind of matchups with the 7v7, it does nothing but help with the camaraderie and getting into a rhythm with your receivers. And they were impressive throughout the summer, participating in several of those.
And speaking of 7v7s, had a chance to go hang out with Coach Reed this week, get those impact players, hang out with the guys. He's got in his office the trophy from one of their last 7v7 competitions. Guess what the matchup was with them coming out on top against Flanagan High School.
Of course, yeah.
Flanagan High School. So now we get a chance to see them put the pads on.
Yep.
Once again, these guys are physical. We were talking about it earlier today. I haven't seen defense like this. These guys are playing like grown men. I mean, the size, Devin Bush, Devin Gill, their defensive front I mean, whatever they were doing in the weight room this season has translated to the field, because last week we were talking about Wreck-It Ralph type stuff.
Yeah.
Grown men throwing them to the ground. Forget form tackling. They don't need, I mean, these guys can knock someone out with a bicep. That's what we're talking about tonight.
Well, and speaking of Flanagan, talking with Coach Bush, he definitely has some concerns about this Coconut Creek team. The keys to them getting the win, according to him, they want to control the tempo. They need to be disciplined, as we spoke about with the unsportsmanlike penalties, ridiculous. Eliminate those. And play fast mentally. Don't make mental errors, mental mistakes, wrap up, tackle, and do the kind of things that they need to do facing an explosive team like Coconut Creek.
Absolutely. We got a lot going on here. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for tuning in tonight to HSPNsports.com. We thank you for tuning in from all around the nation, all around the world, and we want to give a big shout out to the people that made this broadcast possible tonight with playing the recruiting game. That is www.playingtherecruitinggame.com. Stealth Rating. You can also follow them at www.stealthrating.com. Graphic sponsor tonight, Bleacher Graphics. That's also bleacher.com. And last but never least, the KDA Foundation. You can find more information at www.kdafoundation.com, .org. And at this point in the broadcast, we are going to tune out. We have the presentation of colors, and we are going to get silent as these young men and women come out, and we will get right back to you. Once again, you're watching HSPN Sports with Ryan Stout and Chris Jenkins. Stay with us.
So he's now over my shoulder. We're on the wrong side. I'm sorry. You guys on the wrong side. And making their way to midfield, representing the Falcons. Coach, is that number 1 out there? All right. Representing the Falcons, number 1, Caleb Nelson. While the coin toss is going on, we'd like to welcome the officials for tonight's football contest. Representing Broward Football Coaches Officials Association, referee, Mr. Steve Epstein. Umpire, Mr. Ken Maurer. Linesman, Mr. Tom Zace. Line judge, Mr. Marty Landon. Back judge, Mr. Bill Anderson. And timer, Mr. Griffin Carr. Gentlemen, welcome to Flanagan High School. We hope that you have a safe, fun, enjoyable, and uneventful evening. Keep your flags in your pockets. ROTC, the field is yours. Please proceed to midfield, ROTC. Did you see who's receiving? We'll find out in a minute. Coach, who's got it? Us? Ryan. Who's got it? Us? Thank you. All right, so after the coin toss is all said and done, it will be the Falcons kicking off to start off tonight's football action. Folks, as the ROTC cadets take the field with the presentation, we ask that you please rise and remove your caps and covers for the presentation of our national anthem. Falcon sound, thank you very much.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are kicking it off here in Pembroke Pines, Florida. Once again, this is HSPN Sports live feature tonight of Flanagan Falcons, which are going to be on the defensive side. Just as I guess this is the best you get as a presentation. You got the Flanagan defense, what we talked about, high-powered defense, versus this offense. They're about to kick it off, so nothing better than that. We want to give a shout-out to all our streaming partners tonight. You saw them early go by. Bleacher.com, Florida Gridiron Preps, Florida High School Football America, and our newest streaming partner, Never Had It So Good Sports Radio with Princess Cooper. Throughout the night, we will be introducing those partners and the way you can follow them all night long.
It's kickoff time. I need you to get up over them legs.
about to get it going here, Ryan. Back deep for Coconut Creek. You've got Trayvon Mullen. Of course, he is one of the impact players we've talked about, as well as Malik Young. Expect a lot out of these two, both running 4.40s, so they can get it in a hurry. And of course, kicking off, you've got Angelo Trujillo for Flanagan. Falcons, of course, in the slime green, as you spoke to earlier, along with the gray, and of course the visitors, the Cougars out of Coconut Creek, white and maroon.
And we also want to not forget about our third announcer tonight on the live broadcast, Coach Bear. Here, girls varsity soccer coach is out here doing the announcing and the mixing tonight, and we are all crammed in here tight. Once again, it's high school sports, and he is going to be our third with us tonight. So if we don't talk, we're just letting him do it.
Yeah, no. Should be very interesting. So here we go. Let's get it. High and deep is the kickoff, and almost through the back of the end zone, decides to take it out. Up across the 20, up across the 25, 30. Still rolling. Flag comes in. We'll see if the hanky will cause a penalty against Creek. Great field position to start off. A little block in the back will be against Creek. That'll back them up. First and 10 for Jakari Harrison, the 4-year starter we've spoke about.
And that was a return by Malik Young, one of our impact players tonight. Great return.
First play of this one under a lightning delay, so we're getting off to about a 40-hour and 15-minute delay, give or take. First and 10 for Creek. Harrison looks like he's going into an audible in the pistol formation. 3 wides to the far, 1 to the near, and a flag and a false start, so that's going to back up Creek even further.
Yep.
So 2 quick penalties on the kickoff and almost first play of the game, backing Creek up even further.
We want to give a big shout out to London, Spain, and South America tonight. We got people from all over the world.
London and Spain in the house. Thank you for listening and watching, whatever may be happening. We got another flag, believe it or not. Unbelievable here.
Got some dirty laundry, what we like to call it, on the field.
So they're going to get the 5 yards back. They just lost, Ryan. Encroachment against Flanagan.
We're going to figure it out at some point tonight.
Eventually we'll get this started. 2 flags before the ball's even snapped. The ball is going to be spotted at about the 26. First and 10, hopefully, for Creek. Shotgun formation. 2 wides to the far near. Harrison, pressure, and he's sacked on the first play. Flanagan in there for the stop on a big sack.
First play of the game. What did we talk about early on? Big time defense here with the Flanagan Falcons that are going to be, ultimately they could be the game changers for this.
Yes.
I mean, you got this powerful offense, but if you don't have time, you're not going to put points on the board.
And you got a great defensive front. We've spoke about that a few times. Big time pressure on that first play. Harrison still under pressure, decides to tuck it. Finally met and powered back. Nice stop. Number 21, Charles Williams, on the eventual stop, but Harrison did enough damage to get picked up about 3. So we've got a 3rd and about 8, we'll call it, for Harrison.
That can be very dangerous for Harrison, making moves like that early on in the game. He does not want to get injured.
Has some pressure. almost tucked it to side
Smart.
to do so. And I think he's going to have enough to pick up the first down. We got a flag on the play, and it might be a sideline warning, possibly.
Well, smart play, I would say. Doesn't have too much time in the pocket, but ultimately he got down, and that's the most important thing. Jakari, if he's going to take off outside of the pocket, he needs to get down. These guys are dangerous. Could put him out of the game.
They looking to pick him off if they get an opportunity. So we've got 2 flags on the play. We'll see if it's sorted out. Initially, Creek picked up the first down on the scramble by Harrison. They're waving 1 flag away, but an unsportsmanlike against Creek. Unsportsmanlike against Flanagan. Both penalties were offset, so there was no waving of the flag. So 2 unsportsmanlikes on both teams. Offsetting penalties, and we still have our 1st and 10 coming up.
What did we talk about early? Unsportsmanlike conduct. Last week, possibly 8 penalties on the Flanagan defensive side.
So Creek still alive. Empty set. Spread formation for Harrison, and defensively and knocks down. Big time stop that time. Stepping up, Nikolai Jaji.
Well, that's 3 plays so far that Jakari has not had a chance to get rid of the ball.
No time to really set up.
Right. First time he's getting jacked up by the defensive back, but now he's got to get rid of the ball.
No, 2nd down. Incomplete. Trying to set up the bubble screen that time, and we got more flags coming out after the play's over.
The flag flies in as well.
So that would have been enough for the first down up on the completion. Pass intended for Trayvon Mullen. And we've got an unsportsmanlike against Flanagan. 2nd of the contest. It's going to be an automatic 1st down coming up with great field position inside of Flanagan territory. Ball's going to be spotted about the 45 for fresh set of downs.
My question is, do you think the refs know coming into this game based on last game? Do you think they're going to make their calls based on the last game with the unsportsmanlike conduct?
Ryan, it's unfortunate because it might be some of the same refs. We don't know for sure. But I'm sure that word is possibly passed because they're probably getting refs from the area to come in. So 1st and 10 for Harrison and the Cougars. Keeping it alive, held on to it too long. And I want to say unofficially the 4th sack. Flanagan coming in strong. So that's going to be a loss of 10. Harrison swallowed up on that play. Held on to it a little bit too long. So 2nd and 20 coming up on the 10-yard loss.
That's going to be tough. That's a tough start for the Cougars. We've seen a lot of penalties so far, but if you can't get the ball to your receivers, your weapons out there, and also let's take into account, as we can see, you can't see it in the cameras, but we got rain coming down. So the ball's wet, the umbrellas are out. It's going to be an interesting game.
Coming up on the 8-minute, 30-second mark. 1st quarter play, no score. Creek. Harrison tucks it, runs, shake it, bake it. Gets a little bit past the initial line of scrimmage, and we're going to give him about 13 or so on the pickup. Still going to bring up a 3rd down and about 7 or 8, we'll call it.
Did
Ball
you see
spotted just across the 40?
Did you see that young man flying at the end of the play? If Jakari did not go down, he probably most likely
been trying to pick his head up somewhere on the field.
Somewhere. My goodness, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't,
swarming, they're flying.
When you get a chance, halftime, you might want to go to last week's game to Douglas to see how this defense has played this year.
3rd down situation, and completes it. Still on his feet, moving, gets to the sticks, and that's going to be enough to pick up the 1st, or they're going to measure it. Nice pitch and catch. Flanagan initially had him stop.
That's another Malik Young pickup, impact player for tonight's game.
Big time play by
Can't have fun without fundamentals.
The senior wide receiver, cornerback returner. And I think that's going to be enough to move the sticks, Ryan. It'll be another first down for Coconut Creek. And we've got an official stoppage. And I think they're going to measure. Ball is spotted just short or right at the 35.
Well, we have a minute.
Oh,
And that's going to be
7:41 on the clock here.
Wish a happy birthday to one of our senior Falcon cheerleaders.
It's going to be 7:41 on the clock. Here in the first quarter, we've seen an interesting start from both parties. A lot of penalties early on, like we said. Is it possibly because the word has been passed around by the refs? Can we expect another repeat from what happened last week? A lot of unsportsmanlikes.
Well, I know talking with Coach Bush, he was basically embarrassed with the display from last week, Ryan. But they're not getting off too great of a start thus far. 2 unsportsmanlikes already. He said point blank, we got to clean that up. That's inexcusable.
It is. It is. Once again, it's a representation of their team, and they want to represent themselves with class, especially when it comes to the football field.
So, flags on the play before we even get going, and they did not get the first, so we're looking at a 4th and 1 and maybe even more false start. And that's a killer. That's got to be 4th and 6 now to pick up the first.
4th and 6, what do you do here? Based on what you've seen so far, you going
Quarterback keeper,
You're going
Harrison,
for it?
up the middle. If I'm calling the plays, I'll go with
I don't think they're going for it. I think we're going to see a punt.
and I believe you're right.
Because I think you think about it, at this point, you take a chance early on in the game. If you have the resources at punter, at kicker, use it. I think so.
Kurt back in punt formation. And they go with the fake. I don't think he's going to make it. Flanagan all over it and has to reverse his field. And oh my goodness, Flanagan steps up big time. So trying to go with a little trickery, Coach Reed and the Cougars. Backfires, and they're going to have to give it up. Malik Young, one of our impact players, tried to make something out of nothing. But Flanagan in business, first possession of the contest offensively, and they are already inside of Cougar territory.
All right. We've seen him last week. Stanford Samuels, big-time athletic impact player of the game. Back there, do we see Ja'Cory Pearson? If we do, he's one to watch out for.
So we've got...
And we're going to get another whistle on the play. We might be here all night, Chris.
And a timeout. Cougars want to talk about it.
I just want to talk about it, too. That was a big-time play right there.
Yeah, big gamble. Big gamble.
I mean, I said take advantage of your resources. If you got a punter, if you got a kicker, take advantage of it. But, Young trying to make something happen out of nothing, reversing field, and honestly, that's a substantial loss.
Oh,
on Creek's
absolutely,
part.
yeah, because it puts Flanagan with a huge advantage coming out of the timeout. But you got to think, if you're Coach Reed, you got to take a few chances.
Right, you got to take
that
a
was
risk.
a big risk that he took. They were barely inside of Flanagan territory on the attempt, the fake punt. But it backfired.
I think what will sit on their minds and the fans out there is are you willing to take that risk this early on in the game? I think that's the question that may reside for a little while. But, hey, football, you got to have a short memory, right?
True. So 7:29 on the clock, first quarter play. No score thus far here at Flanagan High School. And we got a box snap. And Samuels having a takeoff over the near side. And got positive yards if they're not penalized. Flag on the play. So 2 flags on the play. We'll see what it is. Samuels with positive yards.
And that's the danger. Stanford Samuels, it's raining. It's second start at quarterback for the Falcons. he's able to pick up the ball off the ground, broken play, positive yardage. Outside of the yellow flags, we'll see how positive it really was.
Refs still trying to sort this one out. We've got a holding against Flanagan, so that will back them up. Holding against the Cougars, so it will negate penalties for both sides. And Samuels will get the positive yard. Picked up about 5 on that scramble.
So it's 3 flags on the play. Got the personal foul at the end. He's going to move Falcons.
Didn't see that.
Yeah, right at the end, he snuck it in. So 3 flags on the play. I'm pretty sure if we could throw a rough number out there, I would say so far we have 8 to 10 penalties on the field.
Half of which are unsportsmanlike.
Right, and we're
2 unsportsmanlike
we're in the
against
game.
the Cougars, 2 against the Falcons.
Last time we called out the clock, 7:41. It's now 7:21. So in a matter of 20 seconds,
yes,
you've seen what's happened. So hopefully we can have a smooth transition into maybe a more consistent game with no penalties.
Sloppy, undisciplined play so far from both sides.
I'm looking forward to seeing what the Flanagan offense is able to put out right now, especially in the rain. You know, some people would consider this football weather. As a former quarterback myself, I hate the rain, and I think I can speak for a lot of quarterbacks, but, you know, I think they have the weapons to run the ball as well.
Of course. So a fresh set of downs, deep inside of Cougar territory. And we're going to probably have encroachment calls. So a free 5 coming up. So a 1st and 5 situation. Ball spotted at the 20 of the Cougars. 1st and 10, Samuels in his shotgun formation. 1 wide to the near, 2 to the far. They go straight up the gut. Got enough for the 1st down, but pop. And we've got an injured Cougar shaking up a bit. Coming in to make that stop, that was Trayvon Mullen in the cornerback spot. Bit shaken up as he's being replaced, coming out of the lineup right now.
Another impact player for tonight's game, number 1, Trayvon Mullen. Key player, not only in this game, but a key player that coach is going to need throughout the season.
So ball spotted at the 11, we'll call it 1st and 10. Flanagan still on the move. No score so far. Under 7 here in the 1st. Go with the call. Off tackle. And we got a flag coming in late. Somebody hitting after the whistle blew. We'll see if Flanagan will be backed up as a result.
And the flags fly in again.
So Flanagan.
Fans, I know you're using umbrellas to try and stay dry. Please be courteous of those around you. Remember,
unsportsmanlike against the Cougars, so that's going to move the ball inside the 5. 1st and goal, Flanagan.
And Coach Farron said it first. Ladies and gentlemen, we're sorry if we have umbrellas in the picture. It is raining here in South Florida. Surprise, surprise, I know.
Samuel under center now. 1 back set. 3 wides to the far, 1 to the near. They go off the guard. Fake off the guard. And a nice fake because they fake me out. Samuel gets in. Touchdown, Falcons. They strike first. Trujillo. Set for the extra point.
That's going to put 6 points on the board for the Falcons, waiting for the extra point. We have 6:30 here in the 1st quarter. If you just started joining us here from HSPN or any of our streaming partners tonight, we appreciate you tuning into the broadcast. This is HSPN Sports live here in Pembroke Pines, Florida, with Ryan Stout and Chris Jenkins.
So snap is back, kick is up, through, and good. And the Falcons strike first on a wet and battlefield first quarter, 6:30 on the clock. First quarter of play, Chris Jenkins, Ryan Stout on the mic here on HSPN Sports. Glad you could join us wherever you may be. Got a good one. Number 2 ranked Falcons strike first, up 7-0.
7 points on the board. We're only halfway through the first quarter, like Coach Farron was talking about, when we've had a whole bucket full of penalties. It's just overflowing. And we've talked about it before, and we'll keep talking about it until someone gets the memo.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we got to run down there ourselves and knock on someone's head and say, "Hey, get in the game, man. We gotta get the penalties off."
5 unsportsmanlike penalties unofficially in this one. 3 against the Cougars, 2 against the Falcons.
And the Falcons are going to kick it off again. Coconut Creek, open up the game offensively. Jakari Harrison, quick review of the first series. Drove into Flanagan territory. Half of the yardage was probably in penalties.
Absolutely.
But the young man maybe got 2 passes out of his hand that weren't caught. Malik Young, one of our impact players tonight for Coconut Creek, doing majority of the work. Tried to do a fake punt. We saw what happened. You can always rewind it, see what happened. Malik Young just getting sacked 20, 25 yards
yeah,
back.
big play in this one so far. If they convert that, you got to think Coconut Creek scores first. Nonetheless, the gamble did not work. Mullen, Young, back deep once again for the Cougars. High and deep. This one's going to go through the back of the end zone, touchback, and we'll see if Jakari Harrison and his crew can get it going. Down 7-0 here in this one. 6:30 on the clock, first quarter of play. Live from Flanagan High School here in Pembroke Pines, Florida. Chris Jenkins and Ryan Stout here on HSPN Sports.
And this broadcast was made possible by playingtherecruitinggame.com. StealthRating.com. Bleacher Graphics, which is Bleacher.com. And the Keeping Dreams Alive Foundation.
Pistol formation for the Cougars. Little short spurt off guard. Maybe got 1 yard or back to the line of scrimmage. 1 yard if we're being generous. I believe it's going to be right at the line, so no gain on the play. 2nd down, 10 coming up.
2nd and 9 yards.
Coming up on the 6-minute mark here in this one. 2 wides to the far, 1 to the near. Man in motion now. Harrison shifts through the defense, picks up some positive yards. They'll give him about 2. And it's going to be very key for Harrison not to take some big hits. You spoke about it already. You can definitely tell he's trying to keep his center of gravity low.
Yes, because the defense for the Falcons are keeping it low as well.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys are knifing in.
Yeah.
Are knifing in from all angles. Dangerous.
Headhunter style tonight.
That's what it is.
So 2nd, we'll call it about 7 coming up for the Cougars. Down 7-0. Pistol set, 3 wides to the near. Tight end set. Harrison might have got back to the line of scrimmage and thrown down. Ball comes free, and oh my goodness, first turnover of the contest. Flanagan in business. Just what you do not want. You try a fake punt around midfield, doesn't work, and then you commit a turnover inside your own territory, and Flanagan knocking on the door once again.
Could be very dangerous for the Cougars right now. Their weapon is the offensive side of the ball.
Yes.
That's where their weapons are. If they can't produce, they're going to have a very rough night.
So we're going to call it 1st and 10 for Flanagan.
All right, fans, on this side
Right around the, we'll say 29. Excuse me, 26 we'll call it. Samuels in the pistol formation. Man in motion. Fakes the handoff. Looks. Incomplete.
And the referee with a
Threw the pass a bit behind his intended receiver that time. Pass intended for number 5, Nikolai.
And Coach
Jai.
Farron's calling that referee playing in the backfield right now. He's agile with the pass breakup for the Flanagan Falcons, and they are in Cougar territory right now and potentially could put some more points on the board.
Let's see if this Cougar defense can hold. 2nd down, 10 situation.
Please find a seat.
Eubanks in motion. Under center now, Samuels gives off, spins off the defender, still on his feet. Picks up 5, picks up 6, 7. And finally knocked out of bounds. But they're in business with a 3rd and short coming up.
Looks like the rain died down.
Darius Alexander on the carry. Yeah, it looks like we got...
But they don't have any dry balls, I bet.
No rain for the moment, but you still have to be conscious of slippery balls, as you just said, and fumbles. Turnovers could still be a key in this one. So 3rd down, about 3, we'll call it, coming up with Samuels. Fakes a handoff and swarmed up big-time defense by the Cougars, clamping down defensively.
Yeah, and that's number 5 on the play for the Cougars. It's making a big-time stop.
Kobe Green stepping up on that defensive front for the Cougars. Big-time defensive play for the Cougars to not go in a hole, potentially 14-0. Flanagan holding on so far.
Yeah, some good misdirection. Has faked us out a couple times up here in the booth. Stanford Samuels definitely making some plays, and Flanagan's going to their resources and getting the boot out on the field and seeing if they can put some more points on the board with this special teams play.
It's about a 42-yard field goal coming up.
I wish I could tell you, but they don't have the numbers on the field.
Snap is back, and kick is blocked. Cougars have an opportunity, and they fall on it. With great field position to start up 1st and 10, 42-yard field goal. Blocked.
And that's number 1, Trayvon
Trujillo.
Picking up the scoop and score, but no scoop and no score. Just kind of a roll, and hey, let's get the offense back on the field and do what we do best.
That 3rd down stop was pretty huge, forcing the Falcons into the field goal attempt. Trujillo had it blocked. Cougars hold defensively and only down 7 as we're under 4. 3:52 to be exact here in the 1st quarter of play. 1 back set, pistol formation for Harrison. Gives it off. Tackle and might have gotten about 3 yards.
Running up the middle for a little. The Cougars off up to the helmet. Out goes the running back, number 21 on the carry.
I'm telling you, that is a prime example of what I've been saying about this defense. That young man has probably got all the athletic ability in the world, but this defense is our man-child. If that's the proper term.
Goldburn on the short pickup on that play. We'll give him about 2 actually. So 2nd down and 8 situation for Harrison. Pressured immediately. Shaking, baking. Finally gobbled up by Flanagan. Woo! Defense stepping up once again. 3 Falcons on the stop. Devin Bush helping lead the charge. Of course, one of the impact players for Flanagan. So a loss of about 4. So we got a third down at about 14 situation coming up for the Cougars.
And Jakari Harrison having a tough time finding his guys out there, not because they're not open.
And they're going to throw, little screen pass, got a little momentum. Won't get enough for the first, but gets it about 3 yards short of it, we'll say.
And again, we're going to see Malik Young, one of our impact players for tonight, get some positive yards. I think it's kind of reminding us of last week. Jakor Pearson stepping up in the game, really showing off his talents in the first quarter of play. And what we're seeing out of Malik right now is the best thing they have going for them.
Absolutely. So punt formation. I think they're going to actually punt this one away, not to attempt another fake. Low snap. Gets this one off. Decent punt. And a fair catch call.
And there's our guy, Jakor Pearson, back there to receive the punt. The punt was slow and low. The Cougars getting down there as fast as possible, and it's going to put those guys in their own territory. Coming out on the offensive side, we got Stanford Samuels once again joining the Flanagan offense, and we got 1 minute 41 seconds on the clock here in the first quarter.
So ball spotted right around the 19, we'll call it officially. Flanagan up 7-0. First quarter of play. 1:41 on the clock to be exact. Samuels under center. One back set. 3 wides to the far, 1 to the near. 3-step drop. Gets this one out. Popped. Incomplete on the pass. Couldn't bring it in and hold on to it.
And that's going to be Pearson. Pearson on the reception, but can't hold on to it. Possibly a short gain. Came up with 0. And that's going to stop the clock with 1:36 here in the first quarter.
So second down 10 situation. Ball spotted around the 20-yard line. Coconut Creek hanging on so far against this high-powered Flanagan squad. Two wides to the near and slot formation receiver, and they're going to get a cheap 5. Encroachment defense probably coming up as there are flags on the play.
And you're going to see the frustration out of the defensive teammates saying, hey man, defensive line, you are lined up on the ball. You are lined up on the ball. There's no excuse for you should ever to jump off sides. You shouldn't be listening to the quarterback.
You move when the ball moves.
You move,
absolutely.
Exactly. You move when the ball moves. That's going to move the Falcons.
So cheap forward. 5 brings up a 2nd and 5 situation for Flanagan. Samuel's going with the hard count. Shotgun formation now. They go with the handoff. Moving, shaking, baking.
I like the blocks downfield. How do you feel about it, fans?
Nice run that time.
And the Falcons
Darius Alexander. And that's going to be enough to move the sticks. 1st and 10 situation coming up.
Like you said, a little shake and bake. It's impressive to see the young man move on this wet field.
Yeah, especially through traffic. All that traffic out there on top of that. Little shotgun situation once again for Samuels. Flanagan nursing a 7-point lead as we approach the waning minutes of first quarter of play. And we've got flags on the play.
All right, that's a delay.
Back to 5. They just picked up a few minutes ago. So 1st and 15 situation coming up.
And we got some viewers familiar to your old stomping grounds, Oklahoma City, tuning in tonight to the live broadcast. Big shout out to Oklahoma City.
Absolutely. Wherever you may be listening or watching, we thank you for doing so.
And also remember, at any time in the broadcast, make sure you hit us up on Twitter. We'll give you a shout out. We love the support.
And a big time stop made by the Cougars. And that's going to be a loss of about 3, we'll call it.
And that's going to keep the clock running with just 40 seconds left in the first quarter with 7 points for the Falcons.
A team that came out last week, put up 35 on Stoneman Douglas, held to 7 as we approach the end of the first. On empty backfield, Samuels. Second and about 17, we'll call it. Flags on the play. I don't think I've ever seen as many flags before the snap of the ball until this game.
One day we will get a good series without any penalties. And hopefully it's sometime tonight.
So that will be delayed game, backing up 5 more yards, and they've got a second and forever coming up.
Second and forever is right, and that is going to have 4 seconds on the clock ending this first quarter of football.
Samuels gets free, fires one, incomplete.
Ball falls incomplete, the flag flies in at the end of it.
Flags at the end of the play.
Personal foul against the Cougars.
We've got a personal foul against the Cougars. Oh my goodness, just bailed them out.
And at least we get to see the quarterback, someone on the field, open up their arm tonight.
Yeah. He had to scramble a little bit to get free.
Stanford going downfield to number 15 for the Falcons.
So they're going to mark off 15 yards and keep this drive very much alive. It's going to be an automatic first down as a result. And that will be the 4th unsportsmanlike penalty against Coconut Creek.
Well, you don't really have to play if you're going to just move the ball forward with penalties. So,
yeah.
I mean, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if the refs just pulled both teams out on the middle of the field and said, guys, come on.
Something needs to take place.
Honest.
We're talking about, at this point, 5 unsportsmanlike penalties for both of these teams combined.
All right, the official says we've seen enough of the first quarter. That's over and done with and in the books.
So officially, first quarter play in the books now.
Second quarter of football action.
All right, long first quarter finally put to bed. Second quarter action coming up here in Pembroke Pines, Florida.
Yes, long first quarter, but we made it through. I want to give a big shout out to our streaming partners tonight. And you can follow them, as you can see on the screen. We got Bleacher.com, Florida Gridiron Preps, Florida High School Football, High School Football America, Never Had It So Good Sports Radio. And last but never least, Florida Varsity is also streaming with us tonight, FloridaVarsity.com. We apologize for not getting those graphics up, but big shout out to FloridaVarsity.com. That is FLAVarsity.com. And we're back to live action, starting up the second quarter. We made it through the first. It's been an interesting one so far. A lot of penalties, probably more yards on penalties than overall offense combining both teams, I would say.
Absolutely agree on that. That is a very good point.
And I apologize for being so negative, but there just comes to a certain point when, I mean, how much promotion can you do during a broadcast with high school athletes?
Well, it is what it is. You're calling it as you see it. That's pretty much what it is.
So if you're just tuned in with us, Flanagan's got points on the board, 7-0 against the Cougars, and Flanagan's got the ball opening up this second quarter of play.
Well, ball spotted right around the 40. Second quarter action. Under center now. Harrison goes with the fake. I think that might be a busted play, trying to pick up what he can. To the near side, and finally gobbled up after picking up about 5 or 6, we'll call it.
And Stanford very dangerous on his feet. Ultimately, I agree with you. I believe it was a broken play. They're doing a lot of option, a little read option in the backfield, some misdirection. The biggest thing that I've seen stand out so far is the Cougar defense isn't as violent as I would say the Flanagan, because every time Harrison takes off with the ball, it's like put a big target on his back.
That's an interesting word, violent.
Violent. Violent. I'll say it all night. These guys, this Flanagan defense, I don't know where it came from, but they are violent.
So this is what we've got.
Yeah.
A 3rd and short situation for Flanagan. I think they're going to pick it up and more. Gain of about 7 on the play. Toting the rock, Darius Alexander. And that'll be enough to move the sticks. 1st and 10, Flanagan coming up. Trying to improve on that 7-0 score, but the Cougars stepping up, making some big plays, and staying in this one so far. Ball spotted about the 47. 1st and 10 for Stanford Samuels and the Falcon offense. In the shotgun, has some time, gets this one off, completes it, and gains about 8, we'll call it, and flags coming in after the play. So you can immediately tell, Ryan, that the refs going into this game,
they're not going to have
said that we're not having it. Quick flags coming out, and it's continuing, and we're going to see if we've got another unsportsmanlike to tack on in this one. Move it either forward or backward. Unsportsmanlike against the Cougars. Unbelievable. That is their 5th unsportsmanlike conduct penalty.
1st and 10.
This might be moved even further ahead.
And another flag flies in.
Unbelievable.
And we got a good shout out, Florida high school football. He says college football is for Saturday, high school football is for Friday. Shame on those college programs playing football tonight. Florida high school football, big shout out to those guys. Keeping it classy.
All right, another huge penalty against the defense that we like out on this side of the stadium, so let them know.
I want to say that was a sideline penalty resulting in illegal participation is what we're going to call that. So it moves the ball even further. Ball spotted around the 25-yard line.
Big shout out to David Wetzel, tuned into the broadcast tonight. And another shout out, Pinecrest versus Coral Springs Charter, doing a lot of things with the Panthers this year. And you can also watch the stream at PCTV Sports. Check out their Twitter, PCTV Sports, and you can find that link there. Check out those Charter boys versus Pinecrest. And as they take some time, we too will take some time. You're watching HSPNsports.com. We thank you for tuning in from wherever you are. Our audience out there is coming from all different parts of the nation and the world, and we appreciate all the support.
How y'all gonna do this, man? Don't do that now.
Get it. Get it.
We just had a touchdown on the play to get the ball. Come right 18 speed there. Come right there. Don't do that.
So 9:47 on the clock. Coming out of the timeout, Flanagan holding on to a 7-0 lead here in the second quarter of play. Coconut Creek putting up a big-time fight, but killing themselves at the same time. 5 unsportsmanlike penalties, and they're only down 7. So they're still very much in this game, but not a lot of discipline being showed by Coach Reed's team at this point.
Now I'd say, you know who else is really in this game? We got some awesome fans out there. We apologize to Julia Harris. Intense support from Julia Harris. We apologize for having those graphics up on the screen so long. We got some great fans out there. We love you, and we thank you so much for your support. These people are in the game, and we're right back to live action. Flanagan with the ball.
So we got a second down situation, and not able to get much at all.
Cougars with defensive pressure.
Look like Kayla Nelson.
44, flushing that play, breaking it up. Littleton, New York came on the play, second down. And
Check that. That was Devin Bush.
check that, third down now. And, oh boy, let's call that 16. Third and 16.
That's going to be 9:39 on the clock in the second quarter here in Pembroke Pines, Florida. We had some rainfall earlier, but
So-
it looks like it's dried up.
And not a lot of offense to
Not a lot
speak
of
of. Only
offense at
7
all.
points to show for, a Flanagan team coming off 35-7 win, and Coconut Creek coming off a 41-21 win. But only 7 points on the board. Flanagan holding tight on the move currently. Samuels finally fires one off, completes it, and reception forward, close to moving the sticks. More we'll see. Isaiah Collins on the reception. It'll still be about 4 yards short of the first down. Ball spotted inside the 10. Going to be about 4th down and 4, we'll call
Got a
it.
chance here for another first down.
Ball spotted right around the 9. Big 4th down play.
What are you calling right here? Don't say QB sneak.
Well, it looks like they're going to go for the field goal.
Oh, they are going for a field goal.
So unofficially 27-yard field goal attempt by Flanagan. They're going to talk about it, take time. So 8:23 on the clock. Second quarter play, 7-0 count. Flanagan, number 2 ranked in Class 8A, ranked number 20 nationally, taking on Coconut Creek Cougars. Both teams coming in 1-0 on the season. And this will be a huge upset for Coach Reed's team, coming off a 4-6 record, but picking up a big win to open up their campaign last week, taking on Marist out of Atlanta, Georgia, picking up the win 41-21. So timeout, coming out of the timeout, looks like Flanagan going to attempt a field goal. We're going to call it unofficially about 27-yarder. Angelo Trujillo. And holding will be Samuels. Snap is back. Ball is down. Kick is up. Squeeze through that left upright and it's good. So now we've got 3 more points to add to Flanagan's total, and we've got a 10-0 count with 8:17 remaining here in the second.
And that's going to be high school football game day, brought to you by HSPNsports.com. We thank you for joining us tonight. This broadcast is only made possible by playing the recruitinggame.com, stealthrating.com, Bleacher Graphics, and that's bleacher.com, and the Keeping Dreams Alive Foundation, which is KDAFoundation.com. We thank you for all your support, and once again, you can show your support as well. It could be through anything. It could be through sharing, it could be through liking. We're out here to provide a spotlight for these young student athletes out here today, whether they are top athletes or they're underrated. But we're providing that spotlight, and your shares and your likes and your comments mean everything to these young men. So do what you can, and we always thank you for your support. And once again, if you're on Twitter, we love your comments. Don't miss out on a shout-out during the live broadcast. And we're bringing you back to live action. Cougars to receive with 8 minutes and 17 seconds on the clock in the second quarter.
Fans, stomp their feet and clap them hands.
Once again, Trayvon
Make some
Mullen
noise for your boys.
and
Let's
Malik
go.
Young back
Make some
deep
noise.
for Coconut
Let's
Creek.
go. Make some noise.
Trujillo
Let's go. Make some
to
noise.
kick off for
Let's
Flanagan.
go.
Flanagan up 10-0 here, second quarter played, 17 on the clock, back deep and high to the back of the end zone, touchback once again. So not a whole lot of help being given to this high-powered Cougar squad. Average starting field position right around the 20, and that's where Harrison will start off 1st and 10, trying to get some points on the board for his squad, down 10-0 here in this one. Wherever you may be listening or watching, and we've heard inside the country and out, we thank you for doing so. Chris Jenkins, Ryan Stott on the mics with you here from Pembroke Pines, Florida. The Flanagan Falcons taking on Coconut Creek Cougars. Class 8A versus Class 5A. Harrison decides to tuck it, run, and wrapped up big time defensive play. Nice stop by Flanagan. Number 14, Fabian Gordon, wrapping him up.
Just not a lot of action out of Harrison tonight because he didn't have a lot of time.
Yeah.
Defense is getting pumped up. Let them know, fans.
So that's going to be probably a loss. We'll say a loss of about 6. So second down and long situation. Harrison deciding to tuck it. Once again, that Flanagan D swarm is coming up. Host. No, Falcons in on the stop. And he might have gotten back to the original line of scrimmage. Yes, that's what they'll call it. 3rd and 10 situation coming up.
Cougars offense. Let's go, defense. Fans, let it out. Shout it out.
So big time defense by Flanagan, stopping this Cougar offense. They still can't get anything going. They've got a 3rd down and 10 situation inside their own territory. Harrison immediately having a scramble far side, and he's going to be gobbled up. And Hankey thrown in the measure at the end of the play. We'll see if this is going to go against the Cougars, backing them up further.
There's just no chance. There's no chance. I mean, with the offense experience that they have, I don't know what to do here. I mean, Jakari is immediately taking the snap and taking off with the ball.
The face mask situation is going to back them up even further, Ryan.
And it's been like that majority of the night. Majority of the yards that are on the stat books are probably penalties.
But in spite of what's happened offensively for their line, they're only in a hole 10-0.
Right.
Still very much in this ball game, but
Absolutely.
they hurt themselves with the penalties. And Harrison has not had the time, as you've said a few times, to get anything going.
Right. Right, and they look like the Falcons are back to receive the punt.
So Pearson, one of the impact players, back deep. We'll see if he gets a chance to get his hands on it. Does not.
And the ball fair caught
Fair caught.
at about the 45-yard line, 1st and 10.
And that's what
being.
That's what we've seen the majority of the game. A lot of action for the Falcons. I could agree. Pretty decent offense of scheme so far, but how much are you going to change coming into the second half, knowing that Jakari's not getting the time that he needs? So, a lot of things could happen tonight. Like you said, Chris, 10 points on the board overall. Everyone's still in this game.
Yeah. And this Cougar team exploded in the second half, so maybe they're waiting to get their second win, but Flanagan holding strong thus far, up 10-0. And they're back on offense. Samuels looking, finally has to tuck it up the middle. And gains about 5.
Quarterback keeper elects to run after a long time in the pocket. Scrambles for about 5 yards, second down.
And I think Stanford has probably had a better time with the scrambling tonight.
I agree.
I think he's been pretty smart with the ball.
And he's definitely had more time.
Right, some broken plays,
Yeah.
but athletically, I think they're pretty athletic players. But I think Stanford has
second
had
and 5 situation, right at midfield for Samuels. In the pistol, 3-step drop, fires one short.
Ball thrown, incomplete. Third down and 5. The official says, "Hey, look at me, I'm thirsty." And if you're thirsty,
And we got an official's timeout. Stops play. 6 minutes to be exact left, second quarter play. 10-0 to count. Flanagan over Coconut Creek.
We appreciate it. We're thirsty. We're doing a lot of talking.
impact players for tonight. Coconut Creek Cougars. Benjamin Victor out there on the field, wide receiver. A lot of action from Malik Young tonight. Majority of the positive yards for the Cougars. Scholar athlete as well as impact player, Destra Benoit. And also on the list, Trayvon Mullen, number 1 at both sides of the ball tonight, wide receiver and defensive back. Got some great impact players on the Flanagan side as well. Stanford Samuels, Devin Gill, Devin Bush, Jakor Pearson. We could go on and on and on. Scholar athlete, Javari. I can't say his last name because I get it wrong. Bordeaux, Javari Bordeaux is number 28. Scholar athlete tonight for the Falcons.
So coming out of the official's timeout, the second down 5 situation for Samuels at the 50. Was with the long count. Decides to take it straight up the gut, off the left side. Got some room and finally knocked out of bounds at the 30.
And that was a smart
20-yard scramble.
Smart play made by the quarterback. Takes his options outside. Doesn't get hit. Most importantly, he's protecting himself and moving down the field into Cougar territory now.
So that'll be enough to move the stakes. First down and 10 situation coming up for Samuels. Ball spotted just across the 30. We'll call it about the 29-yard line. First and 10 off the gut. Still moving. Plowing through defenders. And that'll be a gain of about 8.
Johnson.
Anthony Johnson on the toe.
All right, folks on the rail, thank you very much. No, gentlemen, please find a seat somewhere.
So,
thank you.
Very close to first down yardage on that carry. Bring up a second and inches. We'll call it 2 based on where the ref is standing. Well spotted just across or right at the 25-yard line. Thomas in motion. And they give a handoff, and it's picked up by the Cougars. Still on his feet. He's got a little barrage going. Can he take it the distance? And popped out of bounds, killing the momentum for Flanagan. Are the Cougars in business? First and 10 the other way.
First and 10, Cougar.
And a very frustrated Flanagan team on the side. That is big
Huge
time
momentum
play.
swing.
Yes, that's a big time play for the Cougars, and we got a swarm of them over on the sideline. Hopefully the young man is not injured. Almost a scoop and score, but hey, you're talking about South Florida speed, so you got to be blazing, or you just have to have the perfect pickup, the perfect scoop to get the touchdown.
And we got to give props to Kobe Green picking that one up on the hop for the Cougars. Major return the other way.
Like you said, huge momentum return. So let's see. Here's the thing. Let's see how the momentum works in the offensive series
and
right
as
now.
sloppy as this one been, just the first turnover of the contest for Flanagan. We'll see if the Cougars can take advantage in business. 1st and 10 inside Flanagan territory. Harrison in the pistol, man in motion now. And they're going to go with an offside by the receiver of all people. That's just inexcusable, like you were saying on the defensive line. You watch the ball.
Yeah.
So that one's going to back them up 5.
You just don't mess with the momentum scheme. You know, it's like karma. You know, you get in there, it's like, don't mess with it. You know, we're rolling. We're rolling right now.
Mm-hmm.
Get your mind right. I know you're excited.
Yes.
I'd like to see Cougars put some points on the board here, to be completely honest.
See if they can take advantage. Finally get this one off. Harrison has to tuck it and can't even get back to the early line scrimmage. Ball pop free. Did they whistle it dead? Yes, they did.
Ball comes out at the end of the play. Cougars retain possession.
So he got about 3 or 4 yards back, but it's still going to be a long yardage situation, probably about the 13. So second and about 12, we'll call it. Shotgun formation for Harrison. 3 wides to the near, 1 to the far. Sets up, finally gets some off, fires it across the middle. Give me. Right in and out of the hands of Devin Bush, one of our impact players.
Yes. And Coach Farron's calling for push-ups because they know better. I don't care what team you play for. You drop the ball, quarterback, linebacker, defensive line, get on the ground, give me 10. Give me something, because that should have been going the other way. Just saying. Right in his hands, and you can tell the coaching staff is not happy.
He's going to hear about
that.
This one from his pops at the end of the game, I'm sure. So 3rd 14 situation. Harrison finally gets this one off. Over across the middle. Completes. And that'll be enough to move the sticks and then some.
And
so
I don't
Cougar
know.
still in business.
I don't know. This looks not too good on the field right now. Got a young man.
Officials timeout on the field.
Yep, the officials are going to take some time, but ultimately it did not look like he came down right on that leg. Ladies and gentlemen, the field is wet. It was raining. Had a lightning delay earlier, but this young man looked like he came down not normal. So we're going to see what's going on with him and talk about killing the momentum. Cougars getting the ball on a big-time scoop, almost a score in the second quarter. We got about 4 minutes, almost coming into halftime with 10 points from the Flanagan Falcons, and it's a close game. And there's no doubt in my mind, and I know you mentioned as well, that the Cougars are able and more. And at this point,
still
huge
trying to see
momentum
who
swing.
the injured Cougar is.
I want to say it's number 6.
Up
number 9.
And that's actually number 9, Benjamin Victor, one of our impact players, a senior 6'4" wide receiver.
All right, fans in the stands, defense needs you.
So Cougars coming out of the injury timeout in business. See if they can make it happen and capitalize on the turnover. Ball spotted at, we'll say, about the 12. Harrison pump fakes, gets that one off and in and out of the receiver's hands. Lord.
Ball falls incomplete, luckily, for the Falcons defense. 2nd and 10, Cougars. Well, that's going to be the play. He's going to play like a point guard. He's going to run, fake, pass off to the open person. Yeah.
So we're still looking at a 2nd down just outside of the 10 for the Cougars. Harrison, shotgun, man in motion now. Got some time, fires some enough, far side and out of the receiver's hand.
Ball thrown back shoulder. Just a bit too much to handle. Falls incomplete. 3rd and 10. Cougars.
That's going to be Malik Young. A little upset, not getting a call there. I'm not skeptical, but right in now.
When you got that tight man coverage, the closer you get, hey,
Oh.
hands are going to be going everywhere.
Well, back shoulder. Once again, we've watched these guys 7-on-7. I mean, you could do that in broad daylight, you know, nice weather, ball's not slippery, but Friday night, it's wet out there.
Got to get some points. Trying to seize the momentum they got from the turnover and return. Fires one back of the end zone. Picked up Flanagan. So Flanagan defense bends but does not break, and another huge momentum swing as they nurse a 10-point lead with 3:32 remaining, second quarter play.
Get over that ball.
I want to say that's number 8. I want to say that's number 8 on the defensive pickup.
Rocco Marucci
Rocco Marucci.
stepping up big.
That is huge, especially in the back of the end zone.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was essential right there. And I'm not saying this game is over one bit, but it was essential that Cougars were able
Get
to put
some
some points on, like
absolutely. Even if it's just 3, you got to get something out of a momentum swing.
you said. Right. 3:32 on the clock, getting close to the second half.
So here we go, back the other way, Flanagan. And they go with a
They're going to
low
call it
pass.
incomplete.
Ball falls incomplete. 2nd and 10. Falcons.
So 3:28 left on the clock. I think the Cougars, if they play some pretty good defense right here, have more than enough time to be able to convert and maybe put some points on the board.
I
What do you
agree.
think?
So second down. 2nd and 10 situation for Samuels. 3-step drop in the shotgun. Fires one over across the middle. Incomplete.
At least 3 different players handed.
Pass intended for Cleavon Thomas.
3rd down.
Close to being a pick off his fingertips, almost in the hands of the Cougars.
That last ball bounced off between 20 and 30 fingers. Falcons, 3rd and 10.
So 3rd and 10 situation for Flanagan. Probably their worst field position of the half. Empty backfield. 3 wides to the far near. Scrambling, Samuels. Finally gets this one off. Incomplete. Pass intended for number 15, Jordan Eubanks.
I think it's pretty clear at this point that both these quarterbacks have shared time in the pocket scrambling around for their lives. I think the most success we've seen so far is Stanford Samuels being able to potentially convert. We've seen the ball come out of his hands a couple times, complete some passes, but ultimately Jakari and Stanford are the guys that we have to look to tonight. You know, it's wet out there. We got 2 big-time defensive plays, and ultimately it could make the difference.
And you can't give up on this Cougar offense. They may have an opportunity to convert, get good field position, a little wobbler of a punt, and almost picked it up on the hop. Dodging a bullet that time, I think, was Malik Young.
Very dangerous.
Yes.
The young man coming in there. I don't know if I saw a fair catch. He let the ball bounce, and the young man came knifing in.
Luckily, it didn't touch him. It didn't look like it touched him. We don't have an opportunity to see a replay, but Malik Young dodging a bullet for the Cougars. In Coconut Creek, they've had their opportunities, believe it or not, against the number 2 ranked Flanagan Falcons, only down 10-0. 3:06 on the clock. We'll see if Harrison can get something going. Goes with the hard count. Now he's going to audible. And pistol set. And they're going to keep it on the ground. No gain. Might have lost 1 or 2 actually. Take your pick. Nothing but great air to stop that one.
2nd and 10.
Number 12, Amari Smith on the run. So 2nd and 10 situation coming up. Ball spotted about the 38 for Jakari Harris and the Cougars. Receiver zigged when he should have zagged, and it almost was a disaster.
Devin Gill
On the play.
making a great defensive read, sticking it in the ground, and just coming at that ball. Unfortunately, wasn't picked off like he hoped for.
And I believe that was Devin Gill.
It was, yes.
On the nice defensive read that time.
The Michigan commit. It is all over the field tonight.
Yes.
That young man has some burst in his step.
So 3rd and 10 situation for Harris. Shotgun formation. 1 to the near, 3 to the far. Rolls out. And I was getting ready to say interception, but he couldn't hold on to it. Great defensive play, nonetheless, by Flanagan. Breaks it up.
That's going to be number 5 on the defensive play.
For the Cougars offense.
Nikolai Jaji.
Jaji almost making some big time plays with 2 minutes and 23 seconds left in this first half of play.
So punt situation for the Cougars now, Ryan. Matt Bethankert back deep. And gets this one off with no pressure. And call a fair catch. On the fair catch that time, Ja'Cory Pearson.
Smart play, I think, by the Cougars. You don't want to give up the ball anywhere near your territory. Getting the ball way out there, and hopefully this defense can hold it down with 2 minutes and 16 seconds left in this game. They've done it before. But ultimately, we got to see some points on the board by Cougars.
Just a 10-0 count, folks, here in this one. Flanagan holding serve here on their home field.
It's a close game.
Yes, very
still
close.
Close game.
Coconut Creek still has an opportunity. Flanagan holding strong, though, up 10-0. Ball at their own 30 with 2:16 remaining here in the second. Been a long first half. And we're winding down. Completes this one to the near side.
Number 3, Clevon Thomas on the carry for the Falcons.
Clevon. A pickup. We're going to save about 12. That'll move the sticks. Fresh set of downs coming up 1st and 10. Ball spotted just across the 40. We'll call it the 41 for Samuels. In the shotgun, of course. Cougars coming out in that 4-2 defensive front. They go deep. Does Samuels. And overthrew his intended receiver that time. Clevon Thomas, the target.
Ball falls incomplete, and the yellow flag falls as well.
And we got a flag on the play, so this is going to back the Falcons up 10 yards. Holding penalty. A ball spotted around, we'll call it the 31.
And the Cougars have the ball just shy of midfield, 1st and 10, Coconut Creek.
Same shit. What you talking about?
But look, they're swinging, and that's what's keeping.
Indiana, LA, the same thing. Back swing. Right?
Yeah, the back swing to the crosser, he's swinging. What the hell? They're trying to get him the ball now. They're just trying to do anything else.
Remember I ran Indiana, I ran LA. That's what I'm running. I know they're playing man. I'm not talking about.
Wow, is that unsportsmanlike against Flanagan? Face mask.
And we have a face mask penalty against the Falcons. 15 yards. Coconut Creek, 1st and 10. That's good defense.
So a few technical difficulties. We are back, and Coconut Creek has the ball. Just negated a face mask penalty, which put them in pretty good territory, in Flanagan territory. A loss of about 5 on the carry.
And that's going to run the clock. We got 40 seconds left in the first half of play with the Cougars have the ball.
And that loss pretty much killed the momentum they had. Harrison off his foot. And we'll see if his teammate fell on the ball. Okay, Cougars do fall on it, but probably with not enough time to do too much. 26.9 to be exact left second quarter. And they're going to call timeout to talk about it with a big 3rd down situation coming up.
26 on the clock. 10 points for Flanagan. An exciting football game so far.
Yes.
Say nonetheless.
Yeah, you take the penalties out of it, and you've got 2 pretty good teams. On the Flanagan side, they've been able to neutralize Harrison and his ability. He's been running for his life most of the contest.
Yeah.
And on the Coconut Creek side, they've been able to hold in check Samuels for the most part, put some pressure on him, and be able to stay in this game with some big plays defensively with the other skilled players for Flanagan. As a result, 26.9 coming out of the timeout. And Coconut Creek trying to get something going, but they face a 3rd down and forever. Harrison in the shotgun, steps up, fires one, far side, got him in, double coverage, and ball knocked down.
And the defense breaks up another long ball threat by the Cougars offense.
And that stops the clock with 15 seconds. And we got a 4th and about 20 coming up.
And that was Benjamin and Gill. Devin Gill on defense side of the ball with a breakup. And Benjamin going up there trying to make a play. This late in the first half of play, we're getting close.
And they have been able to neutralize him also. We talked about him coming in. Benjamin Victor, prototypical size for a wide receiver, 6'4", a little light in the weight, only about 175. Creek will have to punt this one though, and they get this one off. This one's high and short, and coming up, the fair catch on the slide. Number 21, Charles Williams. And we'll see what Flanagan does with it. Probably going to kneel on it going into the half.
I don't know if anybody else saw that, but Devin Bush Jr. just laid out young man trying to get down the field. All around, you literally, if you're a Cougar tonight, you need to watch. You need to keep your eyes on the back of your head, on the side of your head.
You have to keep your head on the swivel, particularly on special teams in situations like you're talking about. You'll be picking your head up.
And before we wrap this up with 13 seconds left for your viewing pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, you always can travel to any parts of our streaming partners. Got a lot of people streaming this game tonight from all across Florida from across the country. Got some California, got some South Carolina in the business. Make sure you check them out. Not are they just shooting out scores and stats on Twitter? Click on the links. Head into the websites. See what they got to offer. They got more than enough content to keep you busy. And that is going to wrap up this first half. For us here in Pembroke Pines, Florida, we get the Falcon sound out here on the field. And we're going to leave this camera running live for you. We're going to get you on a time, about 16 minutes on the clock for halftime. So we got the band for you. We got a bunch of different things going on. HSPN Sports just launched our new website this past month and had a substantial amount of people reached, 1.2 million to be exact, this past month in the month of August. And we're looking to climb, and it's because of you. It's because of the support of the fans. It's because of the support of our streaming partners that are able to produce this greatness every single week. We're glad to bring these games to you live here from Pembroke Pines. Once again, I'm Ryan Stout alongside Chris Jenkins. You're watching on HSPNsports.com. Rough first half.
Yes.
Rough first half. 10 points on the board for the Falcons. We had expectations coming in for the Coconut Creek offense. Jakari Harrison, Benjamin Victor, Malik Young, some impact players for tonight's game. We had high expectations for them, and ultimately, Chris, due to the obstacles, yes, it's rained. Yes, Flanagan's got an outstanding defensive front. Expectations, what are your thoughts so far on offensive play for the Cougars?
It's a battle. It's a battle. You've got a Coconut Creek team. They were, of course, underdogs coming into this game. But in spite of shooting themselves in the foot with unofficially 5 unsportsmanlike penalties, they've been able to hang in there. They're only down 10, and there are a couple of big plays from getting back into this one with the weapons that they have. Obviously, their offense has been stifled, but you got to credit Flanagan defense for stepping up. You've got people like Gill and Bush. Yep. Making big plays as we would expect them to.
Absolutely.
A good one nonetheless.
It's a close game, no doubt. Folks
Absolutely.
out there watching, this isn't a blowout. This isn't something to get away from. You're going to want to tune into this second half of play, because I can guarantee you Coach Reed and Coach Bush are both making some great exchanges with these teams, and they're going to make some changes on the offensive side, because as you can see, 10 points overall. There's not too much offense going on right now. Defensive play has been pretty decent for the Cougars. I think their biggest threat is Stanford Samuels. We haven't seen much of Jakor Pearson as we did last week with MSD. But ultimately, Stanford Samuels is making. I think the weight is on the quarterback's shoulders tonight. Both Stanford and Jakari. Yeah. I mean, Jakari he's got a great weapon. It's with his arm. We've seen it in the 7v7 league, the Miami Showcase. He's been out there, but when you throw some obstacles in his face, like we said, it's raining. But ultimately, when you got guys like Bush and Gill on the defensive side, like you said, you got to keep your head on the swivel.
Yes.
Moving around this field, and what we've seen tonight, and folks out there watching, you can always go back. This is being DVR'd. That is YouTube, so that is the best thing about it. You can go back and check out what's been going on in the first half. But Jakari, I don't think he's been able to play to the best of his ability tonight.
Oh, I totally agree. He's been swarmed most of this contest, had a lot of pressure on him, has not been able to set up. Can probably count on one hand the number of times he's actually been able to set both feet and follow through into a pass, because that pressure from Flanagan's been in his face.
It has been
constantly,
and like we've talked about, and I think it's a very relevant topic to talk about tonight. We have a tremendous amount of yards in penalties for both sides. Honestly, I think we have more yards in penalties than we have in total offense, combining both Flanagan and the Cougars. That's a bold statement, but that's where I sit right now.
I would be very interested to see the final tally on that, because I think unofficially we've got 7 unsportsmanlike penalties. So just do the math.
Right. Now you can expect intensity on the field. You know, we as football players, as a former football player myself, as a former football player on the field, you can expect. You know, you think about it. You're legally allowed to fight on the field. And when I'm talking about fighting, I'm not talking about fist fighting, like boxing, but I'm talking about you're able to put on these shoulder pads and you're able to go and, you know, knock someone's head off.
Yep.
You know? So getting out there intense is one thing, but unsportsmanlike conduct, these guys, you can see it through the lens clearly. These guys, I think there's a lot of disciplinary things that we can work on.
Oh, of course. Absolutely. Not to mention the face masks. We can probably add on another about at least, I would say, 60 yards in face mask penalties.
Right.
There's been 3 of those.
Yeah. Well,
so
it's, once again, I was talking to Coach earlier on today, getting set up. You know, it's interesting. We've been able to follow Flanagan for a couple of years now, and they've made note of it here in the box, the coaching staff. We've been around these guys like Devin Bush Jr., been around these guys like Devin Gill since they were freshmen, and literally have seen them grow substantially, not only in the weight room, because these guys are men. I said it before, man-child. That's a men-child, whatever you want to call it. But these young men have grown progressively throughout the years.
Yeah.
And it's made an extreme difference out there. I mean, this defense is violent, and I talked about it before, and I'll talk about it again. And we want to hear your comments too. Flanagan, I don't think there's another defense in South Florida right now that can compete with Flanagan's defense. I'm saying it.
Well,
on the record.
That's a huge statement. When you
on
look
the record.
at when you
on the record.
when you look at the other talent, you're comparing them to the St. Thomases and the North Miamis and Hallandales.
Yeah.
So that's a bold statement. But
it's on the record.
I got you.
I'm going to throw it out there. I'm going to throw it out there. And like you said, St. Thomas, for those that got to see it, was broadcast the other day. St. Thomas, Booker T. Coach Roger Harriet coming in and taking over that head coaching job. Now, we're talking about I wouldn't say a young man because I'm a young man compared to him, but this guy, outstanding. All around, just good coach. Being around him, seeing him at the Dolphins Media Day.
Yeah.
There's nothing but good things to say about this guy. We've heard it before when he was at university school. We had a chance to talk to the athletes. 80% of the young men that were playing for him at university school considered him a father figure in their life. You can ask him yourself. You can see it all over the news. Wherever you want to search, Coach Roger Harriet, a man of faith, and ultimately a great role model in these young men's life. And they put a spanking on Booker T. Washington this year.
Unexpected, too.
Unexpected.
Kept Booker T. scoreless, if I'm not mistaken, in that game.
I believe so. And ultimately, what do you expect? 2 years ago?
Yeah.
St. Thomas and Booker T. wasn't a matchup. Booker T 2 years ago, going for things like national championships, nationally ranked. And they're still top dogs, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But great game. St. Thomas coming out on top. I think we're seeing a new season of St. Thomas Aquinas. The Raiders are potentially, I think they're going to look good for years to come. They're doing great things over there. And Booker T, hopefully they have an opportunity to rebuild. They've had 2 coaches changes in the past, 4 5 years with Coach Ice Harris going over to University of Miami. His son stepping up last year, and now he's over at FIU, and we got another head coach within the system that's taking his role, which is important. So you're keeping the identity of the Tornadoes, but ultimately, could that be a major factor for Booker T? Not potentially. I don't know. I haven't watched him enough. I haven't checked out St. Thomas enough. That's why I threw out those statements like Flanagan.
I got you.
So ultimately, it's high school football. Like you said early on in the pre-show, I love the statement you made after talking to Reed. 4-6 last year, but a team that you didn't want to play against? What is that?
Well, the funny thing about that statement is that it's showing now, because they're playing a team that for all intents and purposes should be beating the brakes off of them. But they weren't trying to hear that. They didn't get that memo. So in spite of all the mistakes that they've made, they are still only down in this game by 10 points. And I think they're going to probably close the gap All you need is one big play.
That's it.
They've had a few big plays that they just simply have not been able to convert on. But just a couple of big plays, they're right back in it.
The momentum we had coming after that scoop and almost score, I'm going to call it. Young man scoops it up and takes it the distance.
Yeah.
They're in Falcon territory, and they have the potential to put points on the board. And then I want to say it was Benjamin Victor, comes down, rolls the ankle, the leg, whatever it was, up on the tackle, and they cannot convert.
Yep.
I think that was influential part in the game that I don't want to say they didn't take advantage of, they just didn't convert.
Well, I'll say that they didn't. I'll say it for you. They did not take advantage of a huge gift given to them. It was gift wrapped, and they didn't open the present.
Yeah.
So
sent from Santa Claus and everything. And as you got to see the Flanagan sound, the Falcon sound out here, and we want to let people know when we broadcast, we're not just broadcasting the game, we're broadcasting the event. Once again, this is HSPN High School Programming Network, here to put a spotlight on all students and student athletes. So when we broadcast the games, if you got some fans out there, if you have some family, some friends, with some people in the band, we even like when we have enough cameras out here, we want to get the cheerleaders in the action as well. So it's a full production. We got a 19-game schedule. We're 2 weeks in already. We're going to try and throw at you some Thursday games, some Saturday games, and what do you know? Thursday and Saturday, we're not talking about Broward, we're talking about Dade County. Got a lot of things going on in Broward County, though. Partnered up with some influential Coral Springs schools, and you're saying, well, Ryan, what do you mean Coral Springs schools? You know, we're not talking about Miami-Dade and you know, the big dogs. Well, this is the deal. HSPN has commitments to schools that are committed to them. And for
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, one example is Coral Springs Charter. We've been doing some work with Coral Springs Charter the past couple of years. We've done some live broadcasts. We've ventured out. We've partnered with schools. When we first started out, we had Boyd Anderson. Next season, went to Booker T. Washington for 6 games with guys like Treon out there on the field, and took a leap of faith. Wanted to stretch our wings out, and took on a huge schedule last year of Broward and Dade County teams. This year, we wanted to focus in more consistency with the actual work within the schools. There's a huge character training portion that Chris and I have worked on that are working with the schools. So all the schools that are partnered with HSPN are required to go through the character training program. Now, what does that mean? Well, it's media training. Myself, Chris, on the road at the schools, we're putting the kids in front of the cameras to make sure they understand how to articulate, how to enunciate. Well, what does that have to do with media training? Ultimately, media, half of these, 85% of these kids are never going to talk to the media in their life, and that's perfectly fine. Our philosophy is if they can talk in front of a live camera, they can talk in front of a college coach. And ultimately, majority of the time, 85% of these young men that are out there are looking to play and take their talents to the collegiate level. So we want to make sure they're ready at all times. So that's what we're doing. We want to make sure that you find all the information you can. You can go on hspnsports.com, and as you can see, we're throwing up our partners, our streaming partners, doing some outstanding things. We've got some new people on board. One we have missing tonight in the graphics department is Florida Varsity, and we want to give a big shout out for them for streaming. They were a part of last year's awesome schedule, but we're constantly expanding, and we appreciate your support. And at any time during the broadcast, you have any comments, we want to give you those shout-outs. Last week, we had some great comments from Dirty Bird Nation. Tonight, we've had some people interact with us, and we love to do that. This is high school football at its finest, inside the booth, right next to the announcers. It doesn't get much better than this. We got one heck of a game tonight. We're just getting ready to close this halftime up. We've got about 3 minutes on the clock, and these guys are getting warmed up. And we're excited to give you this second half. Folks, it's not a game that you want to miss. 10-point difference. Anything could happen. The rain is gone. The lightning delays are gone. The Cougars got their halftime talk. The Falcons got their halftime talk. I think we can kind of expect, we kind of understand where Bush Sr. is going with it. We know his intensity. Just get better and better. Cougars, ultimately, we got to put points on the board.
Yeah, I'm a bit disappointed along those lines. We hyped it up and talked about the weapons for this Coconut Creek team, and it all boils down to Flanagan handling their business and stopping the scoring, but I definitely expected more than 10 points to be up on the board. I expected probably triple that at the minimum at this point in the game, but we've got a defensive contest. Coconut Creek's defense has stepped up a lot more than we thought. They've dodged some bullets, but they have been game from the start in this one, and they're showing it. And they are 1-0 for a reason, and they still have a big opportunity to shake things up, get a big upset, and
no doubt
wipe away that 4-6 mark they had last year.
0-0 score we're coming back to. That's the mindset for both of these teams. 10 points on the board, but the mentality is we're coming back out here, fresh starts, second half. No more excuses. You know, we could have thrown out some obstacles early on in the game. Said, yeah, it rained a little bit. Balls might be a little wet. Is it a key factor? I don't know. As a former quarterback, yeah, it's an excuse, but we don't talk about it. But ultimately, we've had some pretty big plays. We got to work on the penalties.
Yes.
Ultimately, we definitely have to limit the yards in penalties. The disciplinary actions need to be taken into consideration, and ultimately, we're looking for a great second half of football.
Well, if you think about it, Creek has a lot better team than people anticipated and expected, because I've spoke to the 7 unofficial unsportsmanlike conducts against them, or both teams I should say. 5 have gone against Coconut Creek. That's something that they could have easily it could have been capitalized on into points. They didn't allow it.
I agree.
The defense has held. They've held strong. They continue to. We're going to see what happens second half. It's
and
getting close.
Also for your viewing and listening pleasure, last night kicked off with Never Had It So Good Sports Radio. Princess Cooper out of South Carolina kicked off Sports Talk 803 on Blog Talk Radio. You can tune in every Thursday at 7 p.m. Last night we kicked it off with some outstanding athletes in Coral Springs, Florida. Coral Springs Charter head coach Adam Miller joined us. Head coach Vinny Ziccardi for Coral Springs High joined us as well. But the coolest thing is we had student athletes join us on the panel, and they had a chance to come in. They talked a little bit about the question last night was, are you recruit ready?
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about the key elements of being recruit ready and what college coaches are actually looking for. Character, academics, work performance, and then game performance, in that order. So the coolest thing is we were able to have student athletes come on. Not only did they talk about themselves, promote themselves, but they got to ask questions to the panel. So they got to ask some questions. Some really interesting questions were asked last night. So you can tune in. It is on Never Had It So Good Sports Radio. You can find it there. And you can also find it on HSPNsports.com under Sports Talk. You go on HSPN Sports, the homepage, the navigation bar, you're going to see Sports Talk, and the color is pink. And it's not that color for any particular reason, but that's where you're going to find the interview from last night. Make sure you tune in Thursdays to come. But ultimately, had some great responses last night from these student athletes, and looking forward to a great season in radio. So there's a lot going on. We're trying to get as much out to you as possible, and we hope you enjoy it, and we're glad you support it.
So just minutes away from second half action. 10-0 Flanagan over Coconut Creek. Wherever you may be listening, watching, we thank you for doing so. Chris Jenkins, Ryan Stout here with you from Pembroke Pines, Florida, bringing you the action here on HSPN Sports. Flanagan will get the rock to start the second half. See if they can add to that 10-0 count. Coconut Creek hanging strong. The clear underdog coming into this one, but they are hanging tight in spite of the penalties that we've spoke to several times. And we'll see if they can hang tight, showed themselves to be a second-half team last week. Put 21 unanswered on the board against Marist last week. End up winning that one to go to 1-0, 41-21. We're underway. Let's get it. On the return. Got some momentum. Near side. Tripped up. Woo! That was a momentum saver right there. Almost a clear-cut 6, possibly. The Elstein Lewis coming up with a big stop for Coconut Creek. But they are in business. Looking good with the 1st and 10 situation coming up.
Second half football action here Friday night under the lights.
Ball spotted, we'll call it about the 38. Samuel
About their 37-yard line, 1st and 10.
in the shotgun. First play of the 3rd quarter, 11:54 on the clock. And they're going to keep it on the ground. Little wraparound toss and still weaving through the defense. Might have picked up 2.
That's going to be Pearson.
That time. Pearson, yep.
That's going to be Ja'Cory Pearson on the run and big-time player last week. Had a lot of action in the Douglas game. Haven't seen as much as we expected this game, but hopefully we'll get some touches out of him because I think he is an influential part in putting points on the board.
I totally agree. They have to get him going. Has been held in check for the most part by this Coconut Creek defense. We'll see if they can get something going. 2nd down and about 9 situation coming up for Samuels. Once again in the shotgun. 2 wides to the far near. 3-step drop. Fires one over the far side. Incomplete.
Long ball over the top, falls incomplete. 3rd down and 7. 3rd and 7.
3rd down long coming up for Flanagan. Trying to add to that 10-point margin that they have. Pass intended for Nikolai Jaji. Ball spotted about the 40 of Flanagan. 3rd down and long. We'll call it 10 to be exact. Man in motion. Samuels has some time, decides to tuck it over the far side. And he'll pick up maybe 2 or 3. Coconut Creek defense holds and they'll get it back.
Quarterback keeper on that last play. Little to no yards gain on the play. Short
So
loss.
good defensive stand by the Cougars. They'll get it back. We'll see if they can convert something finally and put some points on the board. Both teams 1-0 coming into this one. 2nd straight week. We are broadcasting live from Pembroke Pines. And they get this little pooch punt off. Not going to have an opportunity for a return. As Mullen and Young back deep once again. And that one's going to fall short about the 25. So 1st and 10 situation coming up. Coconut Creek trying to get on the board. Down 10-0. Just underway here in the 2nd half of action. First possession for Coconut Creek. 10:45 on the clock. 4-year starter Ja'Cory Harrison in the backfield, and we got a flag. And this one's going to go against Coconut Creek before the snap of the ball. Unbelievable how many times that's happened tonight. They'll be backed up 5. So Harris starting off this Cougar offense at his own 20. 1st and 10 situation. In the shotgun. They go with the handoff. Trying to find some room. And
diving forward for a yard or 2.
Gotten
2nd down.
maybe
Let's
2
call
or
it
3
14.
on the carry that time. Destra Benoit on the carry. 5'8", 155 senior.
And we got a Twitter shout out, Jason, at Game2Serious. Still got faith in the Cougars. Jason, still got faith?
Well, they're hanging tight, my friend. So keep watching. We'll see if they can get something going on this series. Harrison breaks the pocket, tries to release, and wrapped up and brought down. A loss of about 12. So we've got a 3rd down and 2 miles coming up for the Cougars. In a hole, they got to be careful.
All right, after that tremendous loss on the play, it brings up 3rd down and Thursday.
So Harrison and the Cougar offense in a big hole, deep in their own territory, inside their own 10, it looks like, and a 3rd and 35 to be exact coming up. Harrison has some time, fires one to the near side over here, caught, but it will not be enough to move the sticks. They're going to be short, and pulling that one in, Benjamin Victor. We expected him to make some big plays. Finally pulls down a big one, but it's still going to be about a 4th and about 7, we'll call it. No, take that back. 4th and about 8 or 9. So he got back to the original line of scrimmage.
4th down and about 8. And out comes the punt team.
And Matt Betonkert ready to get this one off on the punt. Low floater with a chance to return. Got some momentum over the right side. Shaking, baking. Still on his feet and finally brought down number 5.
Jagai on the run.
Nikolai Jagai on the big time return for Flanagan. And they're knocking on the door.
One of the cheerleaders just called me saying to ask me for the cheerleading song. What's the
So
score?
will we finally see this Flanagan offense and get some explosion going? We'll see. Great field position to start this one off on a great return by Jagai. Stanford Samuels and this Flanagan offense. 1st and 10, ball spotted at about the 20, we'll call it 19. 1st down and 10.
Alright, what is it? Flawless, the jersey?
In the shotgun. And he's going to tuck it and run. Gets what he can. And we're going to give him about 5 on the carry.
Alright, is it, well, which one is it? Because there's a couple.
Lost his helmet.
Alright, there's one that says, it says watch, so I'm guessing it's that one.
And I believe he has to come out for one play as a result of that taking place.
21 seconds.
So we'll see how this Flanagan offense.
Ready? Tell her and play. Hold on. Is this it? Is this it? Is this it? Should I put that 15 seconds real quick? I guess so.
Okay, so I believe Flanagan had to take a timeout.
So 15 seconds into this song.
Yeah.
We'll get this straightened out eventually. Samuels had to come off the field as a result of his helmet coming off. So
That's going to be 7:40 in the 3rd. 10 points on the board for the Falcons.
a little quick switch up a quarterback, Ryan, with Eubanks. Looks like he's going to take the snap as Samuels got tackled. Helmet
his
came
helmet.
off.
Yep, his helmet came off. He had to come out,
So he had to
for,
come
one
out
play.
for one play. Yeah.
Correct.
So Eubanks will man the QB spot momentarily. We'll see if Samuels comes back in after this play. But we've got a second down and about 6 situation coming up. Nikolai Jagai made a big play to set up Flanagan to put him in this position. And got maybe 2 more on that play. Quarterback keeper Samuels back in. Eubanks comes out.
Third down and 6 for the Falcons offense.
And that was actually Deshaun Curse that was on that carry and in momentarily at quarterback. And Flanagan having to get up to the line of scrimmage quick. Maybe a delay of game if they don't hurry it up. Under center now, Samuels rolls out and gets this one off. Incomplete. A good defensive stand by the Cougars, forcing a 4th down situation.
Fourth and 6 for the Falcons.
Oh.
And out comes the field goal unit, Trujillo.
So looks like about a 32-yarder unofficially coming up for Flanagan. Trying to up that lead. 3 more points.
Kick is up, it's good.
Snap
32
back.
yards out.
Up through and good. So we've got a 13-10 count now. Flanagan adds 3 more. 32-yarder, good. 6:41 on the clock. Angel Trujillo makes good on it.
And the Falcons put another 3 on the board for the home team.
So a big-time return by Nikolai Jagai. Got Flanagan in the driver's seat. We're able to nudge it forward some more. In the end, had to settle for the 32-yarder, and we are at 13-0 now. 6:41 on the clock, third quarter of play. Wherever you may be listening or watching, we thank you for doing so. This is HSPN Sports, exclusive coverage of high school athletics. And Chris Jenkins, Ryan Stout in the house with you here from Pembroke Pines, Florida. As we've got the number 2 ranked Flanagan Falcons, the Dirty Birds, as they are affectionately called by the fan base, taking on Coconut Creek Cougars, who are hanging tight, but have not been able to get anything going with a very stout offense. We'll see if they can get something going here in the third. Trujillo set the kickoff, and of course back deep you've got 2 in-back players, Trayvon Mullen and Malik Young. Back high at the end of the end zone. He will not return it. Touchback. And once again, Creek, they'll try and get something going.
Still close game.
Still close game.
Still close game. 13 points on the board.
Less than 2 touchdowns game.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
You know, and ultimately, they're more. I think they can do it. The Cougars, we've been waiting. There's no doubt. There's no doubt we've been waiting, but.
Well, as I've said numerous times, they played the team out of Georgia, Marist, last week. That game was pretty much tied or within 1 score until the 4th quarter of play. Coconut Creek exploded, added 21 unanswered, won that one 41-21 last week. So they are capable of putting up points quick, fast, and in a hurry. Don't get anything on that play. Might be back to the line of scrimmage. And we'll see if they can get something going. Plenty of time still left in this one. This one's dragged on.
Officials timeout, calling for a trade.
Do you blame it on the weather?
No.
No?
Absolutely not. Not at this point.
No?
I would say that excuse left probably middle first quarter.
So I'll just take that back then. Off the record, we'll just delete that. Just going to throw that out there. You know what? Not going to lie. Last couple minutes have gone by really fast.
Yeah.
Turnovers, punting the ball down the field. The Cougars had the ball. Flanagan has the ball. We're back and forth. And got 6 minutes into the third quarter. And ultimately, I would say it's been a pretty decent game in terms of time. It took a while to get out of the first quarter.
Oh yeah, it's kind of picked up from there, but it's definitely had its points where it's dragged on. Of course, we do have an injured Falcon. Looks like some cramping possibly going on, trying to figure out who that player is. He is up, but that is good. And the aforementioned Nikolai Jagai, one of the main weapons for this Flanagan squad. He's up and getting off on his own power. It's good.
Back to action soon. And here we go, 2nd and 10 for the Cougars.
So Jagai off the field, and we're back to action. 1st and 10 from the 20, and we've got a pistol formation set up with Harrison. Has some time now, pressure being slung around.
Wrapped up and traded down to the turf. The Falcons defense standing.
Falcon D's coming up big. Jordan Eubanks, one of the Falcons, in on the stop.
Short loss on the play.
Loss of about 2, we'll call it. So 2nd down, check that, 3rd down. And about 11, we'll call it. So loss of 1 on the last play. So big 3rd down and long situation, and that's a killer. That's going to be offsides, and it's going to back them up 5 more yards.
That's not a fancy dance move by the official.
So a 3rd and 11
5 yards.
turns to a 3rd and 16.
3rd down and about 15 for the Cougars.
Approaching the 5-minute mark here in this one. 13-0 is the count, and they're going to get the 5 back on the encroachment. And jumping off, got a little antsy that time, Charles Williams.
5 yards going the other way against the Falcons defense.
So we're back to about a 3rd and 11 situation, we'll call it now. Harrison going with the hard count. Back on the shotgun. Big play. Will he have time? Decides to tuck it, and he'll go nowhere.
Brought down to the rim. Falcons defense working hard.
I think frustration is the word for Harrison tonight. Ultimately, this young man, the potential to put a tremendous amount of points on the board because of the weapons he has surrounding him and not being able to use that weapon. I can guarantee you there's a lot of frustration for this young man tonight.
I totally agree with you, Ryan. Hasn't had much time to do anything. And a nice defensive play. Stepping up that time, I think that was Aaron Sinclair on the stop. Cougars will have to give it back. This one's a wobbler. And in business, over the right side, shaking, moving, sticking. Good return. Jacoby Pearson makes an appearance. But we have hankies. We'll see if this one will stay. Chop block. It will be marked off.
It's the little things.
Yes.
It's the little things that mess up the big things. And that's Pearson on a big-time return. I don't know he's going to get all the yards he deserved.
They're going to mark it at the spot of the foul. So that will negate about a 35-yard run by Pearson. No illegal block. And that'll move it around. We'll call it the
All right, after the penalty assessment, the Falcons
38.
first and 10 from the Cougars.
Excuse me.
47-yard line.
Let's check that. 47-yard. On the 47-yard line. To be specific. First and 10, Flanagan. And they go to Pearson on the run. The minimal gain.
Pearson on the carry.
We'll call it gain of 3 from Pearson. And second down, 7 situation coming up. Well, just short of the 40. We'll call it the 41. Second down, 7. Pearson, shotgun situation. And 2 wides to the far and near. 13-0 is the count here in the third. Samuels, near side, incomplete. Pass intended for Cleveland Thomas.
Just a bit too much over the top. Third down, 8.
No, third down, long situation coming up for Samuels and this Flanagan team. Up 13-0 here in this one. 3:25 on the clock here, third quarter of play. Finally was able to get this one going. About an hour and 15-minute delay because of lightning. And they're going to go with a run.
And a tandem of tacklers.
A little draw play up the middle by Pearson.
Before it gets started.
And he only got maybe 2, so we still got about a 4th and 6 situation coming up. Once again, this Coconut Creek defense stepping up, bending but not breaking. They haven't allowed the big play tonight. Still in this game. Less than a 2-touchdown ball game for you. And it looks like the Falcons are going to punt. And get the pooch punt off. And Creek lets this one go, and it stays alive inside the 5 and dead. So nice special teams play by Flanagan. Kill it inside the 5-yard line.
I'm seeing potential defensive points right now. I'm just saying.
I wouldn't surprise me one bit if they pinned their ears back and came.
I'm just saying.
Came for Harrison.
You send Gill or you send Bush, literally over the top. Literally over the top.
Yeah.
Because that's what they would do. Yes. Literally, they would go over the top. I believe so.
And oh my goodness, Creek starting from their own 1. First and 10. We'll see if Flanagan sends everything at him. And Harrison gets the cheap 5. Gets under center, goes with the hard count, and it's going to get encroachment against Flanagan. Nice play by the 4-year senior.
Quarterback move.
Somebody owes me push-ups.
Yeah.
Quarterback move right there, and I love to see
Good
that.
stuff by the senior.
I thought we were going to get some excitement over the top. But the quarterback did his job.
A ball spotted at about the 6. We'll call it first and 10. Creek still in a big hole. Down 13-0 in this one. 2:32 on the clock. They go with the little screen. And where was the receiver? So that one might go against Creek because there was no receiver in the area. We'll see what the official call is. It looks tentatively like it's going to go against Flanagan.
Yeah, he pointed towards Flanagan. I'm not too sure what. Are we witnessing a case where the ref is just so used to calling penalties against the Falcons?
Yeah.
Illegal man downfield.
So illegal.
There we go.
Illegal man downfield. Results in a loss of down.
Second down on the Bronx, I think.
So second down is what it should be. Creek keeps it on the ground. Still deep in a hole.
Oh, the legal man downfield.
So we should have a third down situation. Still showing second. Under 2 minutes now here in the third quarter of play. Harrison and Coconut Creek deep in their own territory, inside their own 5-yard line. Harrison goes with the hard count, gets this one off our side, and incomplete. Of course, pass intended for Victor, his main weapon. So it was not a loss of down, and we officially have a third down situation. Still convertible for Coconut Creek. Harrison has to scramble, finally steps up and completes this one. And a big time catch to keep the drive alive. Malik Young snagging that one. And a big time conversion just when Coconut Creek needed it. They get it.
136 left in the third. Are we calling momentum shift right here?
That was a big conversion. Big conversion. Ball spotted about the 25 now. 1st and 10. Coconut Creek. Can they get a little something going? 136 on the clock. Down 13-0. Harrison looking to the sideline for the play. Finally gets it off. In the shotgun. Forced to scramble. Running for his life. Gets to the line of scrimmage and then some. We'll give him about 3 on the play.
Quarterback keeper around the far side picks up positive yards. 2nd down and 6.
So gain of about 6 is what they're going to give him. So we got an officially 2nd and 4 situation coming up. About 8 men in the box for Flanagan, and busted play. A huge mistake by Coconut Creek, and they lose 5 on the bad snap. Harrison falls on it, maintains possession, but that backs him up even further. Takes it from a 2nd and 4 situation to a 3rd and about 12.
It's the little things. I'll say it a million times.
You've said it all night. I agree.
I'll say it a million times. You can't make big plays when you have little mistakes.
Yeah. The 3rd down and long situation. Harrison goes for the fade route. Incomplete.
Ball thrown short. Intended for number 7 of the Cougars.
Intended for
Covered tight.
Javosky Barty.
And flag flies in the air.
And we got a flag on the play once again.
We give a big shout out Coral Springs Charter Panthers. Getting that score update with a final against Pinecrest Panthers, 35-6. And we got them next week with Charter's first game, home game in Coral Springs. We're going to show those guys some love. Congratulations on the W tonight. That is 2-0 for the Panthers. And we're looking for a good season. We're going to see them next week, so make sure you join and tune in next week, Friday night.
Absolutely.
Under the lights, Coral
A
Springs
team
Charter.
that got to the semifinals for the state championship last year, so we'll see if A.J. Miller and the Panthers can get it done next week. Looking forward to that one. Meanwhile, Creek still keeping it moving.
second down.
As we're under 10 seconds now remaining third quarter play, can Coconut Creek put some points on the board? That'll be the last play of the third. Moving into the fourth, 13-0 is the count. Coconut Creek hanging tough against the number 2 ranked Flanagan Falcons here in Pembroke Pines, Florida. Chris Jenkins, Ryan Stout, bringing you the action. Glad you tuned in, watching here on HSPN Sports.
And with that play,
Good stuff for you. Fourth quarter action to come. Keep it here.
Hey, that's about 7 times.
This is where champions are made. This is why you train so hard all throughout summer, all throughout two-a-days. Hell yeah.
High school game day, baby. We are glad to be back. Week 2, bringing you some outstanding action with the Flanagan Falcons 2 weeks in a row. The Falcons, the Dirty Bird Nation, showing nothing but support from the athletic department all the way down to the field, to the fans. Got the cheerleaders, got the band. It's been a great night so far. And we are kicking off this fourth quarter. We got 12 minutes of still primetime action. I think this game is not over.
I honestly feel if Coconut Creek can get something going on this possession, they're in this game. If they do not convert points, I just don't think they're going to pull it off. I think it's this possession, this series, heading into the fourth, is that critical. So fourth quarter action coming up. Coconut Creek on the move currently. Ball spotted at the 36.
I know it's Friday night, you worked all week and you're tired, but clap them hands and support your man. Let's
Harrison
go.
fires one for the bubble screen. Got a little room over the far side. And he gets about 14 on the play and picks up the first down. That'll move the sticks and keep the possession.
First down, Creek.
And series going.
And that's what it's going to take. They need to be proactive right here. Jakari's got to put his foot down, ultimately get these guys going, the leadership skills that he has. They need to drive down the field. No little mistakes. They have a big opportunity to put some points on the board.
So fourth quarter, we're in. Coconut Creek currently on the move. They keep it on the ground. Slobber knock that time by Flanagan D. After a game of maybe 2, we'll call it. That'll bring up 2nd and 8 situation, and some heads are ringing. I felt that up here.
I did too. I did too. And that's what I talk about, violent. Violent. These guys are coming in and making some outstanding plays.
2nd down 8 situation. Creek trying to get up the field. Harrison running for his life. Gets back to the line of scrimmage and finally popped out of bounds.
And the quarterback makes his way to the line of scrimmage and all the way to the front row of the bleachers.
So we've got a 3rd down and 10 situation. Just under 11 minutes now. Can Creek convert again and keep this series going?
I'll tell you, I love me some fourth quarter action. Mindsets change. People grow a little bit more hair on their chest.
Yes.
Ultimately, the playmakers. What are you going to do? What are you going to do with the fourth quarter? It's all on the line. These guys have met before Creek, taking on that 77 competition this summer. And now they got the pads on.
Yes. Can they convert? Can they step up? Like you said, flags on the play prior to the snap. We'll see.
Flags galore. That's honestly
It's
what
been
it's
pretty bad.
I think they've tightened it up a bit more since the first half. Barely got out of the first quarter with so many flags.
And once again, an encroachment situation. Harrison able to work that to the hilt. Picks up a cheap 5. We've still got a 3rd down and long situation. Harrison finally pressured. He's going to try and take it up the middle, tucks it. Picks up positive yards. Might have gotten enough. Lunging forward for the first. We'll see.
And the Cougars are calling for it. You see the FSU elbows coming out.
The quarterback for the Cougars works hard for his yards. Falling forward near the first down.
Nice run in traffic by Harrison. That'll move the sticks. First and 10 coming up, Cougars. And keep the drive alive.
Officials timeout on the field, player down.
And that's what they're going to do. They're going to keep the drive alive. More importantly, potentially put some points on the board.
Looks like some more cramping going on for.
Get the pickle juice out. We got 10:40 in the fourth quarter. 13 points on the board for the Falcons.
When they come back out, I want to hear the horns this time. Fans in the stands, when they come back out, I want to hear you on this side of the stadium clapping it up for your team. This game is far from over, in case you didn't know.
Coach Bush out by the injured player. Checking on him. Well, this Creek team not going away, down 13-0. We got a timeout on the field, injury timeout. And number 9, Devin Gill, one of the big playmakers for this Falcon squad, comes off. And we're back to action. 1st and 10 situation. Ball spot about the 42, we'll call it. And an offside is going to back Creek up.
Like a podcast, like we're like the Chiefs, like that. Like that shouldn't be funny.
And we'll sort this one out and see who this was going to go against. Offense pointing to the defense, defense pointing to the offense. They will call it against Creek, back them up 5 offsides. That'll bring up a 1st and 15. Creek trying to put together their first really good sustainable drive of the night, coming up on the 10-minute mark. Harrison.
Long pass up the sideline, beautiful reception, fingertip grab, falls out of bounds. So
Throws that one to Victor, coming up with a huge catch. But there's a flag. We'll see if it stands.
Far side of the field.
Wow. Unsportsmanlike is going to back Coconut Creek up. I want to say that is their 7th
They're going to call it on
unsportsmanlike.
Benjamin. And whatever it was, either his mouth or throwing the ball at the ref.
Unbelievable. That is a momentum, drive, and game killer right
Once again, the word frustration.
Unbelievable. Ball spot just short of their own 40 now as a result of the mark-off after a great catch.
Yeah, man, I like it.
Creek killing themselves. You may look back at that one as one of the biggest plays. Flanagan wants to talk about it. They'll call timeout. And stops the clock with 10:10 left in the fourth quarter. Big time action here from Pembroke Pines. Chris Jenkins, Ryan Stout, bringing you the action here on HSPN Sports.
Got a lot of people out there, a diverse audience from around the world and around the nation. And it's all thanks to these streaming partners tonight. Kicking off with Bleacher, Florida Gridiron Preps, Florida High School Football, going across the nation with High School Football America. And our newest to the team, Princess Cooper, never had so good sports radio in good old South Carolina. Got a lot of great action coming to you this season. We're glad you joined us today on HSPN Sports. Here in the fourth quarter action of Pembroke Pines, South Florida football at its finest.
I totally agree. And I was just getting ready to hate a little bit on these teams. I
it's okay.
Look at Flanagan's uniforms, and I wish I had something even close to as good and nice as these uniforms
the slime green.
When I played back in the Stone Age. Nonetheless, back to action now. Harrison struggling. He's going backwards. Huge stop by the Flanagan defense. He's way back. Almost to the parking lot, folks. The big-time defensive stop by Flanagan. Once again, killing Coconut Creek's momentum.
I'm just saying, Jakari tucked the ball. I mean,
Yeah,
he's
the loaf of bread.
He's been very fortunate tonight. every time he's taken off, he's pulled the Michael Vick.
Yeah.
And though I haven't seen him, I can't recall. You might have seen it, but I haven't seen any turnovers because of it.
One turnover, but it was not as a result of the loaf handling, the loaf of bread handling that you speak to.
Well, then it's just bothering me.
Flag flies in.
It's just a personal problem, I guess. We'll leave it at that.
Flags before the play.
Defense will get 5 yards back.
So Coconut Creek will get the cheap 5 on the encroachment. Harrison working that one to an art form tonight. But they're still in a big hole, folks. Ball spotted at the 30. And we've got a 3rd down and 40 situation. And Harrison working that hard count to perfection. Gets 5 more cheap yards. So still going to bring up a 3rd down and 35 though.
Cheap yards.
Gets a cheap 5. That's what I call it.
35 yards.
Cheap 5. Hey, they're moving forward, and that's a positive thing, because if they don't move forward, I mean, they're a mile away from those yard markers. That's all I got to say. You can't see them in the screen.
3rd and 35 situation to be exact. Harrison fires one across the middle. Nice catch. Woo! And that will not be enough to move the sticks, but my man pulled it in. Big time catch by Benjamin Victor, the senior wide out, 6'4", 175. And we've got an injured Falcon. We'll tell you who that is.
And the rest going to take his time. But here's the thing. You can make those big plays, but if you're 35 yards back and you didn't even get the first down on that, that's what's bothering me the most, is the fact that you're going backwards and you're having these opportunities to make these big plays.
Yes.
We still didn't even get the first down right there.
Yeah. I totally agree.
I know you almost jumped out your pants right there.
Well,
I'm going to bring you back to reality.
Oh, yeah. Well,
he didn't get the first down right there.
We cannot negate the fact that it was an excellent play, but wrongly timed on the Michael Irvin pose.
Yes. And it's on the record too.
Yeah.
It's on the record.
And I can make fun of him because he's a friend.
8:40 left in this game. We had 13 points on the board for the Falcons. We got a goose egg.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure out who the injured Falcon is. A lot of cramping going on. You got a very humid night.
Yep.
You got to stay hydrated.
They're
Been down that road too.
They're not eating their pickles, man.
Yeah.
I remember we used to have a jar of pickle juice, or just pickles in general, with us at all times.
It's a nice trick.
It is. And it's even better if you like pickles, huh?
Yeah.
If I say so myself. And the guys that have made this broadcast possible tonight, you saw playingtherecruitinggame.com right now up on the board, stealthrating.com. You can find all the information. Follow them on social media. Stay up to date with everything that's going on in the world of not just HSPN, but the Keeping Dreams Alive Foundation. Bleacher Graphics really putting the pizzazz on the broadcast. You can hit him up. Follow him on social media. Bleacher.com. Also on Twitter. You're going to see Instagram as well. He's got the stuff. Athletes you're looking for, some good graphics, he's the guy to go to, Bleacher.com. And what we talked about before, the Keeping Dreams Alive Foundation. The foundation has been supporting these young men since 2001. Been a part of it since 2000. I would say 6, but I was still in high school in 2006, so I wasn't doing too much. But
you're youngin'. Young Buck Ryan.
Yeah.
And I believe that was Gill, one of the studs for Flanagan, cramping up once again. Finally gets off the field.
Somebody help Steph out.
So we still, even with the great catch by Victor, are looking at a 4th down situation. 4th and about 6, we'll call it. Can Coconut Creek keep it moving? And unbelievable. They're going to back them up 5 because
No, because it's the little things.
Rainford jumps off sides for Coconut Creek. That'll
It's the
back them
little
up
things.
5 instead of a 4th and 6.
Quote 'em.
4th and 12.
Quote 'em. It's the little things.
What we've got. Unbelievable. So 4th and 12 is what we've got.
The heavy things, you can't carry it.
It's driving me crazy.
In motion is Victor. Harrison finally pressured. Had little time for a second. Tries to keep it alive. Still scrambling. And he's going to go down.
Number 14 for the Falcons, Fabian.
Big defense. Defensive end Fabian Gordon stepping up big and getting a sack. And that'll turn it back over.
I just don't have the words to really describe the situation. Overall, you're going the wrong way. But when you have big-time plays with big-time players, like Benjamin, you know, catching that way down the field but not getting the first down,
Oh, yeah. Of
you're
course.
killing yourself.
Of course.
That's what you're doing. You're killing yourself in the situation.
Make no mistake about it, Coconut Creek has had their chances. They've played great defensively. The offense have not matched, but Flanagan has held suit and took their punches, and they nurse a 13-0 lead with 7:54, so this game's not over by any stretch, but Coconut Creek just blew another great opportunity. Samuel going with the little bubble screen, far side. Plowing through defenders at time.
I think we're going to get a little Pearson action tonight. Shakur, a little Pearson action, I think it was, number 7. Yes, it was.
And he gains about 8. So bring up a 2nd and short. They're going to keep it on the ground and wisely running some clock.
And that's good enough for another Falcon. First down.
So Falcons content to run low clock at this point. Coming up on the 7-minute mark. 13-0 still your score. They keep it on the ground once again. And shaking defenders. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Touchdown Falcons. And that's a backbreaker right there. And I want to say that is my man Ja'Cory Pearson taking that one to the house.
Running back for the Falcons, cutting his way upfield and immediately running today right in the back of the end zone.
Check that. That was actually Anthony Johnson on the toe. We got to give props where it's due. Anthony Johnson for the 6. And Falcons trying to decide whether they're going to go for 2 or go for 1. Finally have to call a timeout to talk about it. And that stops the clock with exactly 7 minutes remaining here in the 4th.
Well, 7 minutes left on the clock, like you said. Potentially 20 points or 21, depending on what they go for right here. I think at this point, the Cougars have shot themselves in all the feet that they have. And, ultimately, 7 minutes, it'd be a bold statement to say they still got it, right?
No, this game's pretty much over.
Yeah.
You held out hope for the Cougars. Had a genuine opportunity missed on that last possession.
You're beating yourself up, man. And ultimately, I believe that's what it is. I don't think we saw the full potential out of the Cougars
I
tonight,
will
and even
totally-
Flanagan as well, with the penalties.
Flanagan just faced a better team than they did last week. Coconut Creek is clearly the better team with more weapons, but Flanagan has shown why they are ranked in the top 3 at this point. They're going to go for 2 and try and up that margin. And Pearson, will he get the corner in the end zone? He will. 2-point conversion. Good.
Pearson puts another 2 on the board for your Flanagan.
And there's something to be said, Ryan, about the fact that they've held this offense scoreless.
Yep.
They're going to potentially win this game with however many points they end up, such and such, to 0.
And ultimately, we're getting close to calling the player of the game. Potentially, I think, not really one player. I think it could be the entire defense.
I agree.
So we're just going to throw that out there.
This
Potentially.
Flanagan defense has stepped up huge. We talked about that defensive front, being able to make plays. They have had Harrison running like his hair was on fire pretty much for most of the night.
Yeah. That front on that defensive side, that defensive front, those linebackers, potentially, I think, have really set the tone coming in early into this game with Harrison on the run, literally first series of the game. Because what we saw coming in was, what we're seeing right now, Flanagan kicking off to this supposedly high-powered offense, which I still believe is a very high-powered offense.
They've done an excellent job, though, Ryan, kicking them into touchbacks where they don't have an opportunity to make plays. So excellent by the special teams
All right,
of
once
Flanagan.
again, the most exciting play of each and every football game. It's kickoff time. Are you ready for it? Well, clap them hands and stomp them feet and make some noise for your boys.
Trujillo kicking off. And this was going to go through the back of the end zone once again. Great special teams players I just spoke to. And to get something, Coconut Creek's going to have to go 80 yards to get 6.
80 yards, which way? Because we've seen 80 yards potentially go both ways. They've gone backwards, they've gone forwards.
80 yards between where the ball sits now and the glorious touchdown that there has been alluded.
Just in case you folks were wondering, next up for Coconut Creek, they got their home opener against Boyd Anderson. This was the second straight week they've been on the road. And of course, this Flanagan team will go to Miami Jackson. So 7 minutes on the clock. Coconut Creek starting 1st and 10 from their own 20. Low snap. They're going to keep it on the ground. And the minimal gain might have got back to the line of scrimmage that time.
Linebacker breaking through the interior line, chasing down the play. Short loss on the play. Number 15 of the Falcons, Jordan Pitts.
And Javoski Barty, I believe, on that last carry. Might have got back to the line of scrimmage. They're going to put it up in the air and incomplete. Oh my goodness.
Hot pass.
Nothing but green in front of the intended receiver. He's going to have nightmares about that.
It's like a Freddy Krueger
And then
nightmares.
some, yes.
And with that play, we now have a water break called by the officials.
I'll tell you, and this is, with 6 minutes left, 80 yards, they've definitely shot themselves in the foot, the feet, I should say.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think we've seen the full potential of Creek tonight. Second game of the season. We can come up with a bunch of excuses, but ultimately, I don't think we saw the full potential of Creek tonight, and I think it goes the same for Flanagan.
To some degree, I have to agree with you. Yeah. They might have overlooked the Cougars a tad bit. But like I said, there's something to be said about a big goose egg on the scoreboard at the end of the night. And that's
absolutely.
That's the direction that they're headed.
Credit is given where it's due. And ultimately, like you said, defense has shown up.
So we got a 3rd down and 10 situation. You're going across the middle again and completes it. And pulling that one in.
I don't know if you saw what I just saw, but the quarterback just laid the wood. Stanford Samuels in the backfield, not of the offense, but the defense. Number 2 coming up and probably giving away some of that aggression he's been holding on to all night.
Oh, you mean Harrison? Laying the big hit.
No, I'm talking about Stanford.
And just as quickly as they got some big yards, they lost them. A nice catch by Anthony Foreman on the previous play.
I'm talking about the young man with the long sleeves gray, Stanford Samuels, out there at defensive back.
I forget. He snuck in there. Snuck in there in his natural position.
And making a statement on that last play. I mean, we heard that up here.
Loss of about 8. So we've got a 2nd down and about 18 coming up. Harrison still hanging in there. And he gets this one off and completes it. That'll be enough to move the sticks. Gain of about 19 on the reception. So now Creek in hurry-up mode. 5:42 remaining. They're not out of this one completely, folks, but the door was almost shut on that last score by Anthony Johnson moments ago. So pistol formation now for Harrison. You go with the draw play, snuffed out. Once again, defensive front stepping up.
Short loss on the play.
So a loss of about 3 on the play. Going to bring up a 2nd down and about 13 on the loss.
Call that 2nd and 13.
Once again, cramping being the culprit for Flanagan. Got an injured player down.
Well, we've seen a lot of that. We've seen a lot of yellow flags hit the field. 5 minutes, 12 seconds on the clock. If you're still with us, we're glad you are. We are glad you are still with us. We thank you for your support. We thank you for joining us tonight from HSPNsports.com. We thank you for joining us from all of our streaming partners, Bleacher.com, FloridaVarsity.com, Florida High School Football, that's FloridaHSFootball.com, FloridaGridironPreps.com, HighSchoolFootballAmerica.com, and NeverHadItSoGoodSportsRadio.com. We thank you for joining us from wherever you've come from, all over the world. Nationally, this is South Florida Football brought to you by HSPNSports.com. This is Ryan Stout alongside Chris Jenkins bringing you live play-by-play and commentary of what's going on here in Pembroke Pines. We got a full game schedule coming your way outside of just tonight. It's a great feature tonight. 21-score lead for the Falcons with a goose egg. The defense has come through. And I think we're coming close to, we're waiting for maybe a miracle to happen. But ultimately, I think we're getting close to naming our players, and I say that plural, players of the game.
Yeah. Fabian Gordon, the injured Falcon, coming off the field for the Falcons. And a big-time defensive play. Nikolai Jaggi. Excuse me, Jagai. Nice defensive play by Jagai, stepping up just as the ball arrived with a nice pop. Coming up on the 4-minute mark in this one.
Don't set him up now, quarterback.
Harrison still hanging in there in the shotgun now. Throws this one up and in and out of the defender's hands into a Creek player.
First down.
And
And that's number 1 on the reception, Trayvon Mullen, impact player for tonight.
And Creek playing, Flanagan looked like they're going off into about a cover 2, cover 3, dropping back. And giving Harrison some lanes to throw. A little hobble, but the reception is made. Looks like a gain of about 5. Oh, second and 5.
That's going to leave us with 4 minutes, 12 seconds on the clock.
So can the Falcons hold that goose egg on the scoreboard? They're trying to. They're going sideline, complete just short of the goal line. Brings it in, and he scores. Creek's on the board. Touchdown, Coconut Creek, finally. And is that Cornelius Hudson
And
pulling that one in?
well, no goose egg. Said it a little too soon. You jinxed him, Chris.
Yeah, I guess so.
Can they hold the goose egg? And they did not.
Flanagan going into a bend, not break defense. A little too much cushion. Creek finally on the board. But I think this one's pretty much been decided at this point. 3:49 on the clock. 21-6. Extra point to come. And flags on the play. And wow, they're going to call this one against Flanagan. Encroachment. And that's going to move it forward. Moves it forward 5 yards, so we'll wait for the extra point. We're going to have a 2-touchdown contest. If he makes good, snap is back. Kick is up, through, and good on the short one.
For the Cougars.
Matt.
7.
But then Kirk on the extra point. So 21-7 is your score with 3:49 remaining here in the fourth.
And remember, you can stay with us all week long. HSPN Sports and all of our streaming partners bringing content, action all week long with stats, scores, you name it. Follow us on social media, wherever you're coming in from. It doesn't matter. We got the content coming your way. Next week, Thursday, we're kicking off the weekend with Sports Talk Radio, Sports Talk 803, South Carolina, with our recruiting show. If you're a high school student, athlete, and you're looking to get some questions answered about the recruiting industry, call in, ask the panel. We're looking forward to your call. We're looking forward to your questions. Friday night,
Anything can happen.
we'll see you at Coral Springs Charter.
I know what I'm expecting
Live.
to see.
Looking
Hopefully
forward
put
to
up-
checking them out next week.
Hopefully put up some big numbers, big expectations out of Charter this year. Runner-up of the Southeastern Football Conference, the Independent League.
And they go with the onside kick. Flanagan got some room on the sidelines and finally knocked out of bounds. Wasn't too good of an onside kick. Went directly to the Flanagan player.
And possibly might have to redo it. Did not hear a whistle. But,
Will this one stand? I don't see any flags.
Regardless, it wasn't the best onside kick I've ever seen.
No. Didn't even go a full 10 yards.
Onside kick and a wonderful return.
So Flanagan able to take advantage. Maurice Codner taking full advantage of the opportunity. The only reason why he wasn't able to score on that is he just didn't get enough blockers in front of him in time, but still made a really nice run on the onside kick return. Flanagan, they'll keep it on the ground. And
Defense converging for a tackle.
maybe,
Slight loss on the play. Second down.
we'll say that's going to be actually a loss of about 1. 3:29 on the clock, fourth quarter of play. 2 touchdown game. Creek just managed to finally put one in. Flanagan having the opportunity to get another score themselves. We'll see if they keep it on the ground or put it through the air. But they pretty much have this one in hand. His clock beginning to become a factor as they go with the little screen pass. Shakes the defender. Sideline. He's got some room. Tiptoe on the sideline. Will he go? Inside the 5, ball fumbled. And Creek recovers. Wow.
Wow. Folks, this game is not over.
Illegal block in the back against the Falcons.
Down by 2 scores. 2:50 left in the game.
And there's
Creek
some discussion
recovering.
as to where the ball's going to be because they gave the ball back to Creek. But we shall see how this unfolds, Ryan. And if Creek gets a ball back, if you're Flanagan, you have to go back to your traditional defense. You cannot play off the way they were just on that last series to give up that touchdown.
Right. Absolutely. No
So
plays
illegal
off.
block against Flanagan officially. Wow. So there will not be a turnover on possession. Flanagan will keep the ball, but it will be backed up. And although the Flanagan player tiptoed the sidelines, he was knocked out of bounds earlier than what we thought.
Run, illegal block in the back, step out of bounds. So whatever happened after he stepped out of bounds didn't exist.
So Flanagan will maintain possession because the player stepped out of bounds before he lost possession of the football.
Wow. A lot going on there.
Yes.
Ultimately, the Falcons still remain with possession of the ball and are going down the field to see if they can put some more points on the board.
And dodge a major bullet in the process. On the carry, Anthony Johnson once again.
Anthony Johnson on the run, being carried backwards by the Cougar defense.
Well, and Stanford Samuels back at quarterback, still in the game, late in the game. And the most interesting thing is, and put a smile on my face, is he got to let out a little aggression on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
Coach, what do you think in putting your starting quarterback, and he's only a starter because Cato has the knee thing going on.
The meniscus
Right.
situation.
So what are your thoughts saying, okay, let's get a little defensive action? I know that's your primary.
It's bold.
Bold.
Very bold.
Not the
Very
word that was
bold
in my
move.
head, but
Yeah.
for broadcasting purposes, that's the word we'll use.
Yeah.
Still got some fans staying strong out here tonight. Decent crowd, even though the bleachers were wet. Coach Farian up here selling half sheets of paper towels. It's all fun. Keep your butt dry. Half sheet paper.
I plan on retiring by the end of the season.
There you go. There you go.
Okay, 2:28 on the clock, 21-7 the count. Fourth quarter action here from Pembroke Pines, Florida. Chris Jenkins and Ryan Stout bring you the action as the number 2 ranked Flanagan Falcons taking out Coconut Creek Cougars. Samuel's going to put it out over the intended receiver's head.
I want push-ups for that too.
Lord have mercy, that was 6. A little more touch on that one.
And it looks like number 20 was the intended receiver.
And that was Diedrich Snelson.
Snelson, a familiar name, coming out of American Heritage. had a great game last week.
Incomplete. Bring it up.
And ultimately, you type in that name anywhere in Google, you're going to see some great highlights out of Snelson over at American Heritage, participating in the state championship game. And him and quarterback, name slips my mind right now. It shouldn't have, because it's a big-time prospect.
So Falcons went deep. Couldn't convert. They're going to have to kick this one away. But time is a-ticking. Coming up on the 2-minute mark here in this one, little pooch punt. And once again, directional punt does not give Creek any opportunity for a return. So excellent job on the special team side, not giving Coconut Creek an opportunity for returns of any kind tonight.
2:14 left. Last time it was 80 yards. Had a long ways to go. This time, what are we looking at?
The ball's inside the 10. We'll see where they officially spot it. But Creek needs a miracle and then some.
And then some. And then to heal the wounds of shooting themselves in the feet.
So first and 10 situation, ball inside the 5. They're going to go deep and then complete down the sidelines. Can he get past? Shakes the defender. He's going to go the distance. Will he? Yes. Touchdown, Coconut Creek.
And Creek with a quick hitter.
Woo!
Just outside of 2 minutes. And the Cougars get
This one's getting interesting, folks. 2:01 on the clock, and Creek strikes quick. I want to say about a 97-yard touchdown catch, completion, and 6.
A miracle and then some, right?
Woo!
And then some, right?
21-13. A one-possession game coming up on the conversion. Will Creek go for 2 or 1? Looks like they're going to go for the traditional 1. Extra point ensuing. And, of course, you can expect the onside kick. Snap is back. Kick is up. Squeaks through that left upright once again, and it's good. We've got a one-possession game with 2:01 remaining. You want to keep it here.
This isn't a game you want to walk away from, folks. Miracles can happen. And with 2 minutes on the clock, literally 2 minutes on the clock, we have potentially an opportunity to see a real 2-minute drill.
And just like at the blink of an eye, one play. There's no way you could have told me that Creek would have even scored again.
There was some doubt.
Let alone.
Let's be honest. We were doubting them. What we've seen tonight.
Of course.
So what do you expect?
Yeah.
Well, expect the unexpected, because that's exactly what just happened. Taking it from the inside of their own 10.
Yes.
All the way
I
down the
believe
field.
they were at their own 3, if I'm not mistaken.
That's football right there.
A 97-yard catch, completion, and score.
Well, let's see if they can get the offense of onside kick.
This is the all-important big play coming up. Flanagan was able to take great advantage of the last onside attempt. Didn't even go to complete 10 yards. And Flanagan able to make something happen. And this one goes to 10. And Flanagan will recover.
Heads-up play recovered by the Falcons.
So nice hands by Flanagan.
Come on back. All right, fans.
And I believe that was number 31, Michael Williams, coming up with that recovery. Or I should say, catching that on the onside attempt. So 2:01 on the clock, a one-score game, 14-21. Flanagan holding on and trying to run the clock out at this point. And a bad snap over the head. And Pearson trying to make something out of nothing. Oh, my goodness. Wheels falling off at this point.
And a miracle and some. We got a timeout on the field.
So a bad snap over Pearson's head. Manages to recover it.
Oh, my.
After running for his life, just trying to get something positive out of the play.
What are the odds? What are the odds? I mean, so many opportunities presented tonight for the Cougars.
And they shot themselves in the foot most of the night.
Oh, my goodness. I mean,
be real about it.
I can't get the vision of Benjamin given the first down, catching the ball.
Still with 7 more yards to pick up.
Yes.
I agree.
Yes. And it's a prime. I mean, that kind of defines the whole night for me.
Yeah.
Because you're making big-time plays with those little mistakes like we talked about. And now we're talking about a miracle and some. One-possession game, right?
And we are still...
We're still in it.
Into this one, and hopefully you are. Wherever you're listening or watching. 1:50 on the clock. A one-score game. Flanagan holding on, up 21-14 over Coconut Creek. Pearson, he's in at quarterback. He keeps it around the near side. Got some blockers, shakes the defender, pops one, still going. Cross the 50. And finally they call it dead. A huge conversion by a huge player stepping up. And that's going to keep the clock moving, more importantly.
Yep, that's it. That's. I think that's the most important thing about that play. He does stay in bounds.
So Pearson just wiped out a huge play from Coconut Creek, got everything back, and got Flanagan within converting a 3rd down, and we'll call it 9, coming up on a huge run. So Pearson in at quarterback once again. He's going to keep it on the ground, far side.
What a block.
And we got flags on the play, but he picked up about 6. Clock stopped under a minute.
Well, I think
just when we counted Coconut Creek out, they got back into the game, but it looks like Flanagan is going to try and hold.
I think the word tonight, frustration. I think we didn't see the potential of both teams tonight. 2 great teams. Last week we got to see Flanagan, come out against Douglas. Really don't put 35 points on the board. Wasn't the biggest what you would expect.
Yeah.
And Stanford Samuel starting quarterback over there, not the official starter. Cato not being in the game, but ultimately. 2 great teams out here on the ball field. You come up with any excuse, but I think frustration is the word tonight for both parties.
Missed opportunities.
Exactly. Missed opportunities. And Jakari Harrison, Stanford Samuels, both the quarterbacks playing tonight. Jakari, I don't think he was able to work to his full potential. And
I totally agree on that.
And I'm thinking player of the game, there isn't just one. We said the defense was looking mighty fine early on with the goose egg on the board, but it gave up 14. Not too long ago, got 14 points on the board for the Cougars. 1 going downtown. I think players of the week is that defensive front for the Flanagan Falcons. I'm going to throw that out there.
And number 56, Woodley Sully, at the defensive end spot for Coconut Creek, the injured player. And if you want to talk about the defensive line, you got to go with Eubanks, Gordon, or Natron May. Natron Ray, excuse me. And we'll pick up the others, but those are 3 of the main ones we definitely want to mention.
Absolutely. Put a lot of pressure on Harrison tonight. Harrison having to run around with that loaf of bread.
Yeah.
And ultimately not not putting up the points that we thought they were going to. It's tough. It's tough knowing that you have those type of weapons available and you can't put the points on the board.
Flanagan forced to punt. They get this one off as it looked like Creek was going for the block. Maybe got a little pinky on it, but it still got off.
All right.
And it's going to be dead around the 10-yard line.
All right, Chris. Here we go.
Creek defender rolls down to the 10-yard
44
line,
seconds.
takes over.
44 seconds. What are you calling? What are you calling?
Well, I'm thinking if you're Flanagan, you want to put the pressure on. You do not want to back off into this cover 3.
Right. Prevent?
No, I just think that would be a mistake. They've had pressure on Harris all night. Keep it on him.
So I'm a defensive back. I'm guarding Benjamin. What the heck is going through my mind?
If he's going to catch it, let him catch it short.
There you go.
Do not let him get behind you. So last gas, 44 ticks on the clock, 21-14 to count.
And he's
We'll see what
scrambling.
Creek can do. Harrison moving, trying to find something. Finally floats this one up and incomplete. He had some real estate in front of him. If he brings that one in, that would have been big.
With an incomplete, stops the clock.
True.
I don't like seeing Harrison scramble because we've watched him scramble tonight and haven't been very successful.
Yeah. And while you brought up the ball protection or lack of it all night, we'll see if it comes back to haunt him. So second play, second down and 10. Clock ticking, tick, tick, tick. Get this one off. To the sidelines, complete, and that will be enough to pick up the first down and stop the clock. 25 seconds remaining. And we'll see where they spot this one.
It's gotten quiet up here.
Yeah. On bated breath. Everyone.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, so they're going to officially spot this one
Let's go.
right around the 25. They're going to go near side, get this one up, and flags come in. We're going to see if it's pass interference.
And guess who's guarding him? Number 2, Stanford Samuels, the quarterback. What are they going to call?
This is a huge play. And I want to say they actually did call pass interference. So that is where they're going to mark the ball, keeping the drive alive for Creek, but only 15.6 remaining here in the fourth. Can Creek pull out a miracle? Tie this one up. Flanagan holding on. Up 21-14. He goes with a little screen. Trying to pass it, decides to tuck it, goes down the sidelines and knocked out of bounds right at midfield. Only 8 seconds remain though.
Oh my goodness. 8 seconds on the clock.
I think you have time to complete a pass without going straight to the end zone, but you have to do it really, really quick. We'll see what Creek does. Harrison, empty backfield. 4 wides to the far, 1 to the near. Tick, tick, tick. 5 seconds, 4 seconds. Goes long and deep. Picked up by Flanagan. And that's it. Call it a night. This one's in the books. No time on the clock. Flanagan pulls it out 21-14.
14-15. 14 is Fabian Gordon. 15 is Jordan Eubanks. 55 is Dennis Jackson.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen,
And that'll do it. Final 21-14. Flanagan holds on by a
Thread?
call it.
Call-
Yeah,
what?
thread.
Thread? What a night of high school football. We were almost proven wrong. And I was almost glad. Because Flanagan held on to that goose egg like none other.
Yes.
And Coconut Creek having a late
Push,
the word.
surge.
Yes. A surge
Yeah.
in the end of the game, putting up 2 points, 14 points on the board. It's going to give us 21-14. Did not see that coming based on the play early on in the game.
Yeah.
So
Unbelievable.
ultimately, I think the word tonight is frustration. I'm going to throw that out there, player of the games. We got a defensive front, and we're going to look back at the film. We're going to grab some names from you, and we're going to promote those guys this week. We thank you for joining us from wherever you joined us from, whether it's across the nation, across the world. We got people tuned in from everywhere, and we thank you for your support. We thank you for supporting these young men on the field, because that's why we're here tonight. We're here to put a spotlight on the guys that aren't receiving it. And we got some great players out there that are representing these teams. And we are excited to give you another round of high school football here on Friday night under the lights. This is HSPNsports.com. Ryan Stout alongside Chris Jenkins. Chris, any last words?
Well, you summed it up. When you talked about the players of the game, we have to give credit to that defensive front. That includes Charles Williams. That includes Jeremiah Youngblood. We already mentioned Jordan Eubanks and Fabian Gordon, as well as Natron Ray. They got it done tonight.
They did. They put a lot of pressure on this big-time quarterback, Jakari Harrison, which we expected a lot out of. A lot of offensive weapons on the field tonight, and I feel like they came up short.
Yes.
We definitely agreed on they shot themselves in the feet tonight, and I think we didn't see the full potential of either of these teams, though Flanagan coming out on top. So, honestly, I'd like to see a rematch.
Well, you have to play more discipline if you're Coconut Creek when you're taking on a top 3 state-ranked team, nationally ranked team. You have to minimize your mistakes.
Right.
Period.
Yeah, and I think for Flanagan being ranked that high, there's certain expectations, and once again we come into this game and we have unsportsmanlike conduct calls. You know, we still got to work on that discipline.
Yes,
I can understand the intensity of going out there and just being fired up, but let's clean it up a little bit, and ultimately looking forward to seeing what both these teams are capable of putting out this season. We got a long season ahead. Game 2, week 2 in the books here with HSPN Sports. We thank all of you for joining us. We thank our partners for streaming us tonight from all around. Once again,
stuff.
Yeah, good stuff. Ryan Stout, Chris Jenkins, here in Pembroke Pines, Florida. This is South Florida Sports Football, the best of the best under the lights. We're going to see you next week with a Coral Springs Charter and possibly a Thursday or Saturday night game. Stay tuned. Follow us. We'll see you next time.
I'll be back.